Hey, I'm your host, Anthony Tank Mansfield, and with me this week is...
Ray Anderson.
Sam Dobrozsi.
Luke Darling.
And this is What You Into.
What you into? What you into?
Video games in a basement. I don't know if there's a better place to have them at. It seems like a good spot to be, right?
Yeah.
We got four bearded dudes down here talking video games in a basement on a podcast. I mean,
Video
that's-
games in a basement in a basement.
It is pretty great.
That is a podcast right there. Four bearded guys in the basement talking about video games. No, man, this is a fun episode. So this listener, you've seen the description. This is the Xbox 360 episode, and what I did for this one was, for the first time in the show's history, I brought together three people that don't know each other. Their only touch point is me, and so I wanted to see what the experience of the system was like for different people that weren't friends, and to see what we had agreements on and disagreements on. So joining the show for the first time, Ray, how you doing, dude?
I am great. Thank you for having me on. I'm excited.
Yeah, man, I'm excited to have you on. And this is one that I've been looking forward to because we've kind of been going back and forth on like, all right, what's a project, what's the episode we could do? And video games came up, of course.
I feel like you and me could do any subject together, but this one I'm really excited about because the 360 was just so much fun.
It fucks. It's one of my favorite systems of all time, and my top three systems of all time. You can find Ray online. You can find him at Ray on the Air on IG, and also Cincy Animal Care. And you recently restarted your website, kickout.substack.com. What's going on over there?
Yeah, so back in like the late 2000s, I had a wrestling blog back when blogs were cool. Now that newsletters have made a resurgence, I decided I didn't want to do like any work and like build a website or anything like that. I just want a place to get some thoughts down. Big wrestling fan, much like yourself. And so I relaunched this old website that I was running from like 2009 to 2012, really. And it's just a place to get some thoughts down. I miss having that creative outlet since I got out of radio and got into animal sheltering. I don't get to write and be as creative as I used to. Just when I get to create, it's a very specific project. So it's just fun to get to talk about wrestling again. And wrestling has been something that I fell out of love with in the last decade or so, and I'm just now starting to come back around on it. So I because I'm me, and when I get back into something, I get into it.
You dive right back in.
So it's been exciting to get in there and start just writing again.
What brought you back into the fold? What got you back on the train?
AEW.
AEW. Okay, fair.
It was like early 2019 when they launched, or October 2019 when they launched. I was like, I'll see. We'll see what happens. But the more and more they plugged away, and I checked in more and more frequently, I found myself like having fun with it again, and not just watching it as from a critical analysis, trying to nitpick everything that annoyed me. And I was just having fun watching wrestling again, and that led to me wanting to write about it again.
Hell yeah, dude.
Nice.
Also, first time on the show, Sam. Dude, help me with the last name because I'm going to butcher it.
Give it a rip.
Okay, there we go.
It's Dobrozsi.
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 Yeah.
God damn, dude, that's a cool last name.
He's Dobrozsi.
Dude, it's Dobrozsi. It's Dobrozsi.
It's a Hungarian name. My great-grandfather came here, and they say it differently in Hungary, but when he got here in Ellis Island, they said Dobrozsi, and it sounds Italian.
Yeah.
But it doesn't sound that way in Hungary when they say it.
Well, you can find you on IG at Sam Dobrozsi. You can also find you at Fireside Pizza, WH, and also at July for Kings. Dude, let's talk about Fireside for a minute. One of my favorite, not just pizza restaurants, one of my favorite restaurants in Cincinnati.
Thanks,
you guys
man.
kill it over there.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I've been there for about 5 years. I actually was sent there by the owner about 5 years ago to, we were going to close it down. It had never done that well where it was. And I got in there, and just everything about the place spoke to me. Like day one, I was like, this place rules. I never want to leave. So I said to the boss, hey, let's not close it. Give me 4 to 6 weeks to do what I can do. And we kind of made it work. And a year later, I bought it. A year later, I bought the building. And now I've been the owner for a couple of years now, and we're doing pretty good. I can get some nights off to come talk about video games, which is like the dream. So
Hell yeah. And you own a pizza shop.
it's kind of fucking awesome.
Yeah.
You can kind of like for if I'm hungry, I can just call my pizza shop and say, hey, like have some pizzas and beer ready, and I go pick them up, or I can Uber them, and it's free because the restaurant pays for the Uber, and the Uber pays us. That's ridiculous, but it's
beautiful
true.
scenario.
It's
Yeah.
so stupid.
I love how
But
you
I-
game the system to this point. You're like just free pizzas, free beers whenever I need them.
I get so geeked out sometimes to be able to be like, yeah, because I just have a pizza joint. You know?
What's your go-to pizza?
Oh yeah,
I really like pepperoni and jalapeno together. I think they're really nice.
There you go.
So we make all kind. We don't just make pizza there. My guys, the chefs who we have there, have come from very serious restaurants around the city. So sometimes they do a lot of fun shit. But just a pepperoni and jalapeno is like so classic. Dip it in some garlic butter or some ranch if you want to be really Midwestern, brother.
The
Real
Midwestern dream
controversial.
Right there.
Get it,
Pizza and
baby.
ranch.
I mean, it's
You can't go wrong.
You can't. And it's
delicious.
super good. Like I've worked at fancy restaurants.
Yeah.
You know, I know like it's super good.
I've
you know?
known plenty of
So-
people who would dog on me at the said fancy restaurants for dipping my pizza in ranch,
Fuck those guys.
which always blew my
Yeah,
mind.
you live in Ohio.
Like, come on, dude.
That's
ranch.
just normal.
It's incredible.
Yes.
Yes.
It's awesome. Anything can be good. So yeah, I really dig it. I like what I'm doing there. So.
You got to dip it
Nice,
in the
man.
Caesar with the anchovies.
Dude,
in
we
it.
have
Think
so
about
many.
that.
We have all these
Think
dressings
about
and
that.
sauces. It's really hillbilly sometimes.
That's good stuff.
all good for
so
me.
you're living the dream.
It's pretty nice.
That's great.
Hell yeah. And that beautiful voice, you've heard before. Second time on the show, Luke Darling. How you doing, bud?
I'm doing all right.
You should
Andy
be.
podcast voice.
Dufresne. 500 yards of shit and came out clean on the other side.
There was Shawshank Talk before the
There was.
episode. Which
Once it comes up,
It's-
I'm stuck for like 2 days. So.
it's kind of like when it's on fucking TNT. Like if you're flipping
have
through the
to
channels,
watch
you got to
it.
watch it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you can't turn it, and it's fucking 16 hours long, so you
Yeah.
could get caught at any time of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, you never know when you're going to get caught by the
Yep.
Shawshank trap. Well, you can find you on IG at Luke_Darling and also your podcast, Game Pass or Smash.
Yep.
How's the show going, man?
Good. We've actually had a couple fun ones recently. A lot of big AAA games have started really coming out in quick succession this year. Jedi Fallen Order, and we don't even have to go down the list. There's Tears of the Kingdom, all this. So we were like, we need to buy ourselves some time where we can actually give ourselves plenty of time to play the game. So we've done a couple movies. We just did Junior, Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh, where he gets pregnant?
Oh my god, dude! what a flick! What an incredible. Do you find my body disgusting? Do you find there's so much going on in that movie? He was like sucking on a baby's foot at the end. There's a lot going. Yeah, there was cake all over the foot, and he like sucked all the icing
It's
off.
from the
of it.
90s. That movie.
1994.
Oh, I wouldn't play today at all.
Yeah.
Not even close.
It was a bizarre one. The CGI Arnold Schwarzenegger baby. When he's having dreams about having the baby. I'll show you guys pictures if we take a break or when we're done. I've got pictures
pulling
and
this
videos.
from the dustbin of history.
Well, I really wanted to do Kindergarten Cop.
Oh,
I wanted to
classic.
yell about like put the cookie down. There's a bomb in
It's
there.
not a tumor.
Right, all that good stuff. A lot of good dad jokes. But Pat actually was like, "Have you ever seen Junior?" I was like, "Dude, it's been like 30 years, but yes, but I don't really remember it." He's like, "We should do Junior." I was like, "He gets pregnant, right?" He's like, "Yeah." I was like, "We should do Junior." Yeah. So that was good. So, but it's good. So we've been sprinkling in a movie here and there while all these like massive AAA games are coming out, which is fun, and it kind of changes the angle of things a little bit. But we brought on our friend Alex, so we have a fourth member. So
Nice.
yeah,
That's cool.
it's been fun, man. Yeah.
Well, guys, let's just dive straight into it, man. I'm excited to have you out here because we're here to talk Xbox 360. The system had a lifespan of 2005 to 2016, so over a decade, which is fucking solid for a video game console.
Wild.
Before we get in there, let's kind of paint a picture for the listener where you were during this time, and also in your video game journey. So for me, I was in my mid-20s. I was living in Columbus, Ohio, and I actually had the PS2 as my college system, and I transferred over to the 360. And a big reason for that jump was because of a lot of the exclusives that were coming out on the 360 at that time. I'd played Halo 2 at a friend's house, and I was like, shit, I gotta play this. And there really just wasn't a lot for me that I saw coming out for the 3 that I wanted, and it was also at a higher price point, and I was like, this kind of makes sense to make the jump now. So that's where I was at. How about you guys?
I was honestly, I'm going to age myself here. I was about 15.
Baby. We got a baby.
We got a baby in the basement. There's a baby in the basement. But I was about 15. And the big thing, I had a PS2 at that point because I was at that age, I was massive Final Fantasy nerd. So PlayStation was where you go for Final Fantasy. And And shortly after Final Fantasy X, blah, 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 all that was going on. I was always into RPGs. So, it's what got me into the first Xbox was Elder Scrolls Morrowind.
Morrowind.
But what got
OG Xbox,
after
my bad.
switching from that to the PS2 so I could play Final Fantasy X, I moved on. Oblivion came out, and that was a done deal.
Yeah.
I sold the PS2 back when you could trade in a system and actually maybe get something for it.
I'll give you $19.
You can
store
get trade
credit.
in an old system and get the next gen still with, they'll give you $20, 20 bones. But Oblivion was my big forerunner into the Xbox big time. But yeah, I was about 15.
Solid. Sam, what about you, man?
I was I was in my mid-20s. I was living in Middletown, Ohio, of all places. That's where I grew up. I spent some time, about 5 years, as a professional musician. That sounds ridiculous, but it's true. When I stopped playing music, I went back to college, and so I was in my mid-20s as an undergrad at Miami of Ohio, and I was serving tables 40 hours a week. And my fiance, or my then girlfriend, who we're not together anymore, but she surprised me with an Xbox 360.
Whoa.
Which was...
Wow.
Dude, it was absolutely wild. She got all these gifts for my birthday, and then the last gift was Gears of War. And I opened it. I was like, "Oh, honey, that's awesome! I'm really excited for Gears." But
Metal case.
you know,
Yeah.
no, it was the normal version or the normal the release. And I was like, "Honey, that's so nice, but I have a regular Xbox and I can't really play it." She's like, "Well, you better go look in the living room." And she had set it up.
Wow.
And I was
What?
like, "Yeah, dude, it was wild."
Who is this lady angel?
It was a very nice gesture, so I immediately ignored her for the rest of the night while I fired up the 360 and went ham on Gears.
Like,
That was
thank
her own
you,
fault
goodbye.
for setting
Dude,
that
she
up,
knew what
so.
the deal was. That was probably part of her motivation. Not bad move by her. She got some peace and quiet.
Absolutely.
yeah.
But Gears was my first game on there, and Gears was a really I was thinking about this before I came by. It was a really holy shit moment. So there's moments when you play certain games or you see certain games when you're like, oh God, you realize it's such a step forward. I remember Dreamcast had a couple. Soul Calibur. First time I saw that, it was crazy.
Yep.
First time I saw NFL 2K1, I was like, oh cool, we're playing real life now. Like, it's not even a fucking video game. It looks like a football game. Like,
You're sitting
a
there,
football-
like if you go look at it now,
and it looks like
yeah.
dog shit.
yeah,
Oh my
but
God.
then it's like I'm looking out the window.
Yes, like that's how and when I played Gears the
Gears
first
was
one,
mind blowing.
Gears just, I never felt it like that. I was walking around like, oh my, like I'll never live in reality anymore. I'm
Yeah.
just going to live in the Xbox world. Because it was so awesome. I did replay the original Gears last year when they put out the remaster. And it has started to age. I mean, it's been fucking, 15 years?
Yeah, 05,
Longer.
I think.
But I mean, it looked good for a long time. And
Yeah.
it was just a gorgeous game. And I beat it in a couple days. And I was crazy about it, so...
I always remember Gears, just that fire intro commercial they did with Mad World,
yeah.
and you're like
So
running
good.
through it's raining, you see like the smash face, the statue on the ground, and then there's that fucking gigantic arachnoid thing that comes up over top of you, and you see the gunfire in Marcus Phoenix's face, and it fades to black. It's Gears of War. It's like, holy shit, what is this?
Well, imagine a 15-year-old who had just seen Donnie Darko, right, and all this.
You get the
He was
Gary
like, dude,
Jules
I gotta
Mad
play
World
it, dude. I have to play it.
Well, they did absolutely phenomenal, not to get off on too much of a tangent, but they did commercials for 2 and 3 and Judgment. Their commercials have always been sweet.
Absolutely.
You know,
stuff.
super good.
Ray, what about you, man? Where were you at during this time in life?
It's funny. I didn't realize until we sat down to start doing this. It's almost like we've come full circle. Earlier this month, I had an accident at home. I passed out in my home, fell face first on my bathroom floor, cut up my face real bad, knocked a tooth out.
Jesus.
And it brings me back because this happened. I got mugged in 2006. Guy knocked my tooth out. And to make myself feel better, I went and bought an Xbox 360. I was probably about 22, almost 23 at the time. Yeah, 2006. So I'd have been it was summer of 06. So that was like my get well soon present to myself.
Hell yeah.
And I think it was maybe right when Dead Rising came out, because Dead Rising was the game.
yeah.
Dead Rising was like a
much
launch
fun.
deal,
Yeah,
too.
that was
wasn't
the
it?
one that I really remember going for it.
Right at the beginning. Like
Yeah,
first
it
2
was
or 3 months.
It was early
Absolutely.
on, and I think I was a couple months late in adopting the 360. I think late 05 that it came out. The 360, or was it 06?
It was
03.
the official launch date for the 360 in the US was November 22nd, 2005.
Okay, so yeah,
So it was for the
then
the Christmas
I was
season
that
2005.
summer. That following summer was when I got it. Dead Rising was the game I played first. I'm a big horror guy,
Yep.
so I heard they're doing this zombie game where there are like thousands of zombies on screen
In a
at
mall.
any given time in a mall. You can go anywhere at the same
Use
time.
anything as a weapon.
Yeah, anything's a weapon. There's like killer clowns in there and stuff. I was like, yeah, sold. I got to get this thing. Gears was also a huge. All you had to say was chainsaw bayonet, and I'm
Yes.
like,
Yeah.
Yes.
I am in.
Especially
One-
at that time, mind blowing.
yeah,
Mind-blowing.
and the other big one was much smaller, but I love Geometry Wars.
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
Geometry
dude.
Wars.
Geometry Wars.
Absolutely.
That
Phenomenal.
I would love making my own soundtracks of that, like playing like back then I was playing a bunch of Muse songs and anything kind of sci-fi soundy to play along with Geometry Wars. I played the shit out of that.
It's me and band buddies, like local band dudes in the city. We'd all congregate in this one band's. They had a suite. I don't know how they landed this apartment, massive apartment. We would just get baked and whatever in our youth and fucking play Geometry Wars for hours.
Game was
dude.
amazing.
Hours.
Game made for people who are baked.
Yeah.
I think believe me, we came to that realization. It was a joyous grouping there for Geometry Wars.
I would like to think that the marketing meeting for this was like, we need a game where people can be really baked. And somebody's like, Geometry Wars. Like, solid. There. We've solved this problem.
Absolutely.
And then somebody threw out Katamari Damacy, and it was like, oh my God.
Dude, you throw Katamari, I'm done, dude. I'm in.
Yeah.
Sign me up.
The
I
world's not
remember
ready for
something
this.
about 360 that happened that they had been talking about for the previous generations, because the previous gen was Xbox, PS2, and GameCube.
Yep, Cube.
And
Cube was great.
I
Cube
love
was
the
totally
game.
awesome.
I'll come back for
Resident
the
Evil
GameCube
4
episode
was-
anytime.
Right. Resident Evil
I
4
love
was-
Cube.
Yeah. Oh.
so I remember that they were talking in that gen about how the video game system was going to become like the media center of the house.
Yes.
And it didn't
Yeah.
really work that way. Because
That was my selling point when I was trying to get one. And they wouldn't get it either. I had to work for it. So the sales, and I do sales now. So and look at me, I'm same as it ever was. But that was my selling point. I was like, dude, you can watch DVDs on
Yeah,
this.
you've got Netflix. Well,
I can
Netflix
play
wasn't a thing then.
CDs on
Yep.
it.
It became like now they have all those apps, all the streaming apps.
Yeah.
And they still work on the 360 right now.
Yeah.
But it was the first time that it became like that center of the house because people were, I didn't have cable at that point.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, that's how we were watching just about everything. And it was the first time it actually kind of worked. Because the original Xbox, I remember it could play DVDs, but you had to get a special remote for it. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
The dumbest fucking decision of all time.
Yeah, and the PlayStation 2 DVD player, which I mean was a huge selling point for the PlayStation 2 at the time.
Huge.
A lot of us were just playing movies with a controller that's
Yeah.
at that time wired. So I have
Yes.
a wired
Yes.
remote to watch my DVDs.
Trying to stretch it to your bed.
Yeah,
or
that's
something,
one of
you
those
know?
things like mom and dad aren't going to go for that in the
Right.
living room.
Yeah.
Right.
But the Xbox 360 with wireless controllers, the very short-lived HD DVD add-on, RIP.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they had the cool media center remote for that. You
It
could do a lot of cool media center stuff with the Xbox 360 and Windows Media Player. God, I'm old.
Well, it was just easy to navigate.
Old
It
Windows Media
became,
Player,
it
man.
had a low barrier to entry. You didn't have to learn. So I could show my girlfriend, like right now, our Series X is like the center of the house. And we have all of our streaming apps on it, whatever. But it started 2 generations ago. The 360, I think they were seeing forward to that actually being a thing that was viable.
It really was. It was a system where they were like, look, we need to make it to where it works for both gamers and people that are just casually using this as a cheap entry system into a home media center because it came with a DVD drive. It had a 1080p video output and a 5.1 Dolby Digital surround sound. So you could hook it up to your shit and you
Yeah.
were good to go. And
Yes.
so now you really saw an evolution of the video game in the system and where it lived in the house. Because like you guys were saying, it went from being a secondary thing behind like the VCR and the DVD player and the CD player. Now it's like, it's all of this together. It's now your combined entertainment console.
And I think a lot of it, for people around our age, it was my first adult console that I purchased. Like, you know, I helped mom and dad out with some jobs here and there and bought a PlayStation 2. Bought a PlayStation 2 that they
Right.
gave me money for. But the
Moving
360,
Moving
yeah, that
rocks.
was pretty much it. The 360
Right.
was the first console. I had a real job where I got a paycheck, direct deposit would hit, and then that was the first one I went to a store and was like, I'm going
Absolutely.
to plunk down $500 on this thing today.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
So as we discussed, this was officially unveiled May 12th, 2005 on MTV. which
Bad.
again, think
don't
about
remember
something
that.
else with
I don't remember
like,
that.
now lost in the sands of time in TV. And then it went on to have release dates November 22nd, 05 in the USA, December 2nd, 05 in the UK, December 10th, 05 in Japan, and then Australia, New Zealand picks it up in March 23rd, 2006. The system goes on to sell 84 million units worldwide. It's the ninth highest rated console sales of all time. Best-selling game for the system with 24 million copies. Anybody want to take a stab?
I only know because you told me.
I think it was in the notes.
It's
Wasn't
on
it?
the notes.
it's
Yeah,
on
I
the
remember,
notes.
yeah.
So I won't
I
spoil
think I
it.
remember being shocked. And
I
look at
was
me
shocked.
now.
Connect Adventure.
Yeah,
I think
I
it
didn't
was-
even have the Connect.
I never
think
had the Connect.
It was bundled with the Kinect, I think.
I think you're right.
I think
well,
Yeah,
you,
that's
you
what
could
it
you
was.
could get the bundle.
So it's
right.
kind of like how Wii Sports is the best selling
Yes.
game of all time because it
Right.
was bundled with the Wii. But I remember playing it. I had a Kinect. I remember I specifically got it because they were giving away. It was a Black Friday at Old Navy, and if you got in line at midnight, you could get what is it? Not Dance Dance Revolution, Just Dance, or one of those.
Yes,
one of the
that they
clones.
gave away. I was like, all right, I'm going to get this Kinect. I'll go get this
Oh,
free
yeah.
game. And that was probably the last time I actually used it.
That's
Was that
also
night.
that's also another thing that has been swept by the sands of time. You got that at Old Navy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you wait in line,
Free
you
video
win that at
games
Old Navy.
At Old
you know what I
Navy
mean?
on Black Friday.
Got some carpenter jeans with the hammer holder on the side.
That's
got some
right.
plaid shirts, and boom, here you go.
That was my workout. I put the hammers in the little loop on the side of the jeans.
There you go.
Then I do my dances.
That's hard mode.
Yeah, expert.
It is kind of weird though, man, that like we went through that time with like both this and the Wii. We talked about like Wii Sports, where that was kind of like, no, the future is motion, and yet here we are, like 15 years later, 20 years later,
And it's totally not.
and we're still playing with controllers. Nintendo has continued to try to innovate stuff, though. I feel like
The Switch still utilizes
Yeah.
a lot of like, and you can always turn it off and stuff, but the Switch still does it. The PlayStation 5, I know that Astro's Playroom. If you guys have
Yeah.
ever played that,
Yeah.
there is a lot of motion, and it can be kind of a pain in the ass, honestly. But it's fun, but it's unique and it's different. But really, like everything's geared towards controller. Which I'm all right with until VR really takes off.
And that's the thing, yeah.
And then I'm single again, and I'm all by myself. and
Why are there
I'm
so
all
many
alone.
cameras in this goddamn room?
I don't think any of those like full motion type, like a Kinect thing or the even the Wii stuff, I felt I just wasn't that into.
Yeah.
And a lot of those games were built around that. Well, I got a Oculus Quest, one of the first, I think the
yeah.
first gen.
I got to mess with
And,
the first gen a bunch.
Yeah, and it was incredible. It was the one
Yeah.
time when that stuff worked. Like I was in my basement playing a Zelda clone, walking around this field,
Oh,
and I remember
dude.
thinking, "Oh my god!" Like it was wild. That's the first time that I think like it works. But I still think there's. So you can play video games from your couch where you're comfortable with a soda on there. With a VR thing, like you're gonna be doing some sweating.
Yeah.
You're gonna be running and jumping and
swinging
and
right.
stuff. So I still think it's not always. I don't know if I ever see it. Everybody moving over to that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because I do agree with you. I think that is going to be a thing where there's a lot of, now you have like a lot of, like the stereotype of the gamer is it's like, kind of couch potato, like kind of, Mom, I don't want to, did I pause my game for this? I don't want to go outside and
mow
do
the
anything."
lawn.
Yeah, it's like, it's this very sedentary lifestyle. But if we do get it starting to get into VR, and if you want to play something like a UFC game, or if you want to play something like Call of Duty, where you can like scale walls and shit and jump over stuff and all that, it's like, okay, how fit do you have to be fucking good at this game?
That's the thing. It's neat. It's a neat thing, but to me, it all still the Kinect was the same. It all feels a little gimmicky.
Yeah.
Yeah, there it is.
I think
Yep.
I think the tech will get there someday.
Yeah.
But right now, I just want to crash on the couch, man.
Yeah.
Yup.
Yeah. I just want to sit on the couch, have my dog there, relax. That's why I play games. I play games to relax.
And I also like that for like the arcade experience now, where you see it like Dave and Buster's and other places where they have a lot more of those games that are like a specific control scheme to the game. And it's like, okay, cool. I'm not going to shell out $200 for this game at my house, but if I'm at Dave and Buster's, I'll plunk down like $1 on my gameplay card and I'll play this like Rock Band clone or this Jurassic Park game where I'm like riding around in the Jeep and shooting shit.
I could see that being the revival of arcades is VR because nobody. It's not practical.
It started.
Yeah,
They exist. There's one right down the street from work, and it's like I think 30 or 45-minute sessions for like $60, right? And I've watched demos of what just to see because I'm like, I would check this out, sometime. But it's begun. But it's like, yeah, I think you're right. That's going to be kind of the pivotal shift for arcades. They're going to move towards that kind of forefront.
Yeah, right now it's just not practical in the
Yeah,
house.
yeah. No, it's a nightmare to set up too.
You need a bunch of space.
At least with the
Yeah.
Oculus, the Quest, the OG, like
Yeah.
early on, it was a bitch to set up, dude. All the sensors and dude, it was ugh.
Yeah, see, if I got to get out a drill to put cameras on the wall, I'm playing Mario.
The walls are covered in plaster. And, yeah.
Well, some other innovations this system gave us was, and we're going to talk about this later with Xbox Arcade more, but the digital media distribution, which allowed indie developers to make games without having to put the cost into physically making discs, cases, instruction booklets. You could just finally make a game that people could download and play on their system.
I think that was really the beginning of what we all see now, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Was via 360?
Yeah, because that was a big part of the system was having the hard drive where you could actually save shit on the hard drive.
Yeah.
And even then that was like, I don't want, maybe gimmicky is the word, or they had like tiers of this system because
Well, you could do
detachable
It was
batteries.
detachable. It was
Swap
easy.
stuff. Yeah, that's
right.
right,
So you
that's
could get a
right.
bigger one
Yeah.
and all that.
Yeah, or you could just like get the arcade one where it's like there was no memory. It's like, oh, you're just playing disc. Like
Yeah.
that's it, and you're not downloading shit, and you're not saving stuff or anything
Yeah.
like that. So in the end, which I thought this was crazy, I was on the research on the system. They ended up doing 9 different fucking versions of the Xbox 360.
Well, they had to do the version that got rid of the red ring of death.
Yes.
Yeah, I'd imagine
Hey
everybody
man,
got
I
hit
went
by
through
that.
3 red rings.
Dude, I went through
red
3
rings.
too.
I
Three
got
for me.
3 too.
I had a buddy come over and he stayed up all night. It was his first time seeing Gears, and he did the same thing everybody did, like holy fuck. And I had like class the next morning, so he's like, I'm just gonna play all night. And I was like, okay. And I woke up and he was on the last boss. It was 10 hours later. Yeah, it was like 10 hours later. He was on the last boss. I was like, cool, dude. We sat down there. We eventually beat him. Pretty excited about that. And then it red ring like immediately.
At least he got through.
He did. He got through. And I remember this
Yeah, but
very
did you get
clearly.
to see the cinematic at the end, or did it cut?
It went all
like-
the way through. It went all the way through.
good.
Yeah, he
Good,
did all
good.
the cool shit. But like I remember this very clearly. I was dumbfounded.
Yeah.
Like I spent somebody in my family spent all this money on this thing.
Right.
But it had just broken, and so I took it to a postal service or a FedEx or something, and the guy's like, "Oh, you got an Xbox." I was like, "What?" He recognized by the weight of it because
Yeah.
they had sent so many.
Yeah.
And that made me think how many thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of these systems had bricked, and what a fucking disaster.
I mean, think
that
about
was.
this. That shit was on the news.
Yeah.
Right? That was on like local news.
It was
and
so
It was on
embarrassing.
like Fox 19.
So is crazy.
Yeah, it was wild. Yeah, I had 3 as well.
Can we give
Heartbreaking.
Can we get some context on what the red ring is for those that are outside of the video game realm?
When you fired up the Xbox 360, it had a power button and it had 4 quadrants in the circle.
Yep.
And
Spun 3 times, right?
yeah, it spun, I think when you started up, it spun and then it lit up and then it told, it does the same thing on the controller now.
Yep, the
on
controller
power.
would correspond. So
Yes,
the
it would.
upper left would be player one,
One.
upper right player 2, lower left player 3, and
Yeah.
lower.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so if you had 4 controllers connected, you'd have a full green circle.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. See, I'm here to entertain and inform.
Well, what would happen is after long play sessions or for random reasons, when you fired it up, I think 3 of the 4
Yep, 3 of the
quadrants,
4.
everything but the bottom right, maybe?
Bottom
Yep.
left.
Bottom left was lit up and it was red, and that meant your shit was borked. And there was all these internet forums to teach you how to try to fix it yourself. But
Yeah.
what you could do easily is just call Microsoft. I think they sent you a little box and you sent it back
Yep.
to them, and they would get it back. I remember it took me a couple weeks to get back, and they said. I remember going to the FedEx at like 9:30 at night when they were going to close, and I was like, "They said it's here at the building. Go in the back and give me my goddamn Xbox." But like, yeah, I went through 3 of them. Anybody that was a serious gamer had it at least happen to them once or twice.
I would say, yeah.
Yeah.
That's bananas too. That's crazy.
Well, and it was so crazy because then after this they had to install like a 3-year warranty on all Xbox 360s after that because so many people had this problem, and like you guys were saying, it was literally thousands, hundreds of thousands of systems, and it was a national phenomenon. Like it was all over the place that this was starting to occur. In the history of owning consoles, I've never had a system that gave me as much heartache as that system.
Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah, I mean, there was the classic NES where, you had to blow in the cartridge.
Those contacts would they would go out.
Yeah,
after
they
time.
get corroded. My SNES, I think my OG SNES still kicking.
Wow.
Still kicking.
That's
after
actually
all
pretty
these years.
incredible.
That's amazing.
I still have mine, but it does not work.
Yeah, mine's
It's an
it's still
aesthetic.
kicking. It's completely yellow now from all that fireproofing wearing
course.
off. But I know my PlayStation 2 died at one point, and then the 360 it did brick, but it didn't red ring on me. It just died. It just stopped
Didn't
turning
even get the
on.
red ring?
I didn't get. I didn't
Oh,
I'm not
man,
even getting the
that's a bummer.
satisfaction of the red ring of death.
Sounds like a internal power supply
Yeah,
or something.
and I replaced it. It was long past warranty at that point.
Yeah.
But the console had such a damn long life that I didn't even feel that bad about it.
The last one I had, that third one, I had forever.
Word.
I got a total of 3. That third one lasted me until I eventually said, you know what, I'm gonna buy a PlayStation 4.
Fair.
Eventually, and that was like years into the PlayStation 4 even.
I like that. It was convenient after 5 years of the system being out. It had sold so many. You could find them at secondhand game shops for relatively cheap.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
You know what I mean? But you didn't know if,
$150,
yeah, you
or
didn't know
whatever.
if it was going to last a week or a year.
Well, and it was a gamble.
Gamble.
total
Yep.
gamble.
Yeah.
Yeah, but even so, launching the system was like $299 around that spot, and that's not a bad
The
price
lower
point
one was
for,
that,
for-
yeah.
Especially for what it was. And I
Yeah.
mean, like we just obviously, I think a thing that brought everyone together. We were talking about Gears a lot, right? I think something that was capable of doing that back then for $299, whereas like now they charge you an arm and a leg. Xbox has gone down over the past year and a half, but like PlayStation, it's gone down. It's insanely expensive, but they like charge asinine amounts of money until you wait years. But like Xbox was not only more capable and more powerful than PS3, but it was far more cost effective. It was, you got way more bang for your buck.
Well, and
I think.
I think one thing we briefly touched on is it was the jump to HD.
Yeah.
That had to be. I mean, you go back and look at PS2 era now, and a lot of those games hold up. But
Yeah.
at the time, you thought like, man, it's never going to get better than Silent Hill 2.
Mm-hmm.
And in a lot of ways, it never did. But
True.
But that first time playing a video game in HD when HD TV, like we have to remember,
not
like
something
HD
we
TVs
knew.
still weren't that. Yeah, that was
I
very
spent
novel.
quite a bit on a
Yeah.
widescreen, flat screen TV.
Oh yeah, my
Yeah.
first
in 05, I think.
my first flat screen in 05 was a 26-inch television. It was $800.
Yeah.
And
That's how-
but to,
yeah.
but to fire up the Xbox
Fucking
and sit
dope.
2 feet away from it because
I was gonna say, I'm picturing you, like, right in
I'm
front
right
of it.
there. But man, you just never seen anything that looked like
Yeah.
that before. And then for a game like Gears, which is I would say probably pushing that hardware to its limits right out of
I
the
think
gate.
I think it was on Gears 1. I think it
Yeah,
was pushing
and
it to
it
its
was
limits.
there was just nothing like that. That was probably, obviously you go back and you look at 360 games now, they don't look as good as games today do. But I think that was the last big like holy shit
Yeah,
jump.
that-
Whereas
Such
now
a jump.
It's been very gradual and
Yeah.
and one that I think I take for granted. I don't notice it as much until I go back and look at those games, that how far we have come in the last 15 or so years. But
Right.
that first jump from PS2 to HD era, that was a huge jump.
Makes you think the Xbox era, though, too. This was still an era for all of us. We were lucky enough to be young and experience it. But now with games, yes, they look incredible, but it's just to be expected. It's just like it might look like a hair better, but like back then, like 360 was a leap.
Hugely.
It was a leap in graphics capability. Gears is a prime example. Like I'll never forget pulling out of that jail cell at the beginning and like getting into it and just
shit.
like, I can't, like, Halo ain't got shit on this, man. God, like, this is incredible. Fucking Xbox, sign me up. But I think that was an era where we actually still got to see these massive leaps because there were still games that back then looked terrible. And it was just developer capability, I think. But the system itself was fully capable of mind-blowing graphics at the time, and game size.
When I've played some of the original Xbox games recently on an original Xbox.
Yeah.
Specifically KOTOR and Battlefront
dude.
2.
Yeah.
And Battlefront 2 is almost unplayable. It almost makes
Really?
my eyes hurt.
Oh, really?
Because the
Damn.
graphics are so, it's just rough.
Just choppy and-
It's really choppy. The graphics, there's no clarity to them. So honestly, and it may be because I'm an old man now, but like it hurt my eyes to play more than 5 or 10 minutes. And Battlefront 2 is such a great game.
Yeah.
A lot of the you can go back and play 360 games right now, and they don't do that same thing. I just don't know
Yeah.
if they ever will.
Yeah.
one thing that I don't know if we've talked about yet or if we're going to get into, but one thing I think the Xbox is people don't talk about it enough is the backwards compatibility
Yes.
for
Yes.
the entire line of the systems.
That was
from
huge.
the original all the way to the Series X.
Yep.
And the new ones, like now they have like I guess it's auto HDR and
Mm-hmm.
these frame rate bumps that make these old games semi-playable.
Yeah.
Like they released on Game Pass a couple months ago Indiana Jones, the Xbox One game from like
Did they really?
04, I think.
Did they?
Yeah, it just got a little bit of a bump. Just I don't know if it was the
You know what?
remaster,
I'll
but-
check. I never played it, but I'll check
I
that
mean,
out.
It's playable. You know
I'll
what I mean?
check it out.
But if you go back and play those original ones, I can't even play them. You know.
I have that
Ends up-
problem with the original PlayStation. I love. I mean, that was before the 360. Probably the most time I spent on a console. Yeah, that
Bandicoot?
SNES.
Crash, dude.
But yeah, I can't.
Spyro,
I-
Crash Bandicoot.
and I
Final
love that,
Fantasy
but there's so many of those.
Twisted
games.
Metal.
Twisted Metal. was
Twisted
rough.
Metal.
Twisted
So,
Metal.
yeah, you go pull
knock
up some-
over the Eiffel Tower, dude. Set up that
Pop up
secret area.
a YouTube video of somebody doing a Let's Play on Twisted Metal
Yeah.
2. You'll
Yeah.
you'll get a migraine.
The Twisted Metal Black, right?
That was PS2.
PS2.
Oh, was that PS2?
Yeah, that was PS2,
Yeah.
and that one still actually looks okay. But
I would still like to go back to the crumminess of graphic quality of Twisted Metal and 2, though, because I have a lot of time.
It's one of the only
Yeah.
games where like you're like, I didn't know fire could be squares. Like it's just such a choppy, shitty looking graphical mess.
That's square fire.
Yeah,
Look
that's
at those cubes.
yeah, that's good. Well, speaking of innovation, some other innovations for this system, we got the expansion of Xbox Live, which was huge, and we also got game achievement awards for the first time.
Yeah.
So you would like get this little ping and
It's the
unlocked.
it's the birth of the completionist.
yeah.
You know?
it really is, because
Wow.
that was one
about
of
it
those
that
things
way.
that like
Yeah.
I don't think there was ever a game that I was like, like even games on the PS2 that had like a checklist to get 100% like Grand Theft Auto 3 had that, and all the Grand Theft Autos had that. And I was like, I'm not doing all that shit.
No.
But then with the 360, it made you feel like you had to do.
You got a trophy, dude.
What was
Well, and people could see that you did it.
yeah,
That's
that
true too.
People saw your trophy counts. They saw
Yes.
your points. You know what I mean?
Does anybody remember their first 1,000 out of 1,000 on the 360?
No.
Gears of War 1. Oh no, I didn't. I never got Seriously. Seriously was the 10,000 kills. I think I got everything else but Seriously.
I
How do you even get that?
No, and I think mine was actually Red Dead 1.
Oh, word.
Yeah, I was obsessed, dude. It was a problem.
I don't think I've
I think I
thousands
actually
anything
wound. That was
except
a
for
wind up
Hades.
single moment
Yeah.
for me.
tank.
It might have been Fallout 3.
Ooh,
'Cause I-
Damn.
that's a tough one to
Yeah.
get too.
Because I was living Fallout for a while.
And this will tell you
Understandable.
that how my brain works when it comes to video games. My first 1,000 out of 1,000 was Viva Pinata.
Dude, hell yeah.
I love it.
I love that
love
game
it.
so much. It's so cute. It's so fun. I highly recommend going back and playing it.
Do we remember when Burger King
Oh yeah.
came out with a bunch of games strictly for
Yeah.
360?
That's right.
Like Sneak King.
King was
Sneak
the
King.
good
That was the
one.
good
Sneak
one.
King.
And then
Then
there
there
was
was a
like,
racer?
There was a racer, and then I don't remember that somebody's gonna pop on the.
I think there
comments
might
of
have been a
this and-
sport one or something.
Yeah, but
or-
I remember Sneak King. Everybody was like, "Go get that! It's an easy 1,000 out of 1,000."
Yeah.
and people were getting it. Because it was
I
like
got it.
$5 with.
Go
some,
get a spicy chicken tender crisp meal, king size with a Dr. Pepper and Sneak King.
Now I'm just getting flashbacks of when Darius Rucker did the Tender Crisp Bacon Cheddar Ranch commercial
Oh,
for
shit.
Burger King. But yeah, it was like people would go and get that.
Yeah.
It was cheap. It was like $5
Yeah.
to get the game. But also, you're an easy 1,000 out of 1,000
And
achievement.
it looks good. It
Yeah.
looks good on your resume.
yeah.
How many gamer points does everybody here have? Does everybody know their?
I don't know.
I can pull
Xbox?
that up.
I'm at about 56,000.
Nice.
I think that's
Just
about where
decent-
I'm at
decent
too.
number.
I don't even know at this point on Xbox. I've been a little disconnected from it.
Yeah.
Since I got the PS5 and
Sure.
the Switch.
That makes
So
sense.
I've been a little.
I was never an achievement hunter, but I know that I've only played Xbox since the 360.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm sure we'll get into it a lot. I'm not big on online play, so any game that has online achievements,
No multiplayer.
Yeah,
Dude,
And
I'm a big single player guy unless it's a certain thing.
occasionally I'll dip my toe in, and Left 4 Dead was probably the 360 game I got online with the most.
That makes sense.
Just so we're here at this dick measuring contest, 59,780.
Damn.
Edged me, so to speak.
Oh, the night is young.
Not yet. Not yet.
So, okay, the 360 lands, as we said earlier, during the time of the PS3 and the Wii. This is interesting because, so the Wii had terrible third-party support. PlayStation 3 was fucking expensive, and it did have, and then Xbox 360 had a bunch of established exclusive titles, so much so that Xbox 360 actually started getting things that were initially supposed to be PS3 exclusives, which includes Devil May Cry 4, Ace Combat 6, Virtual Fighter 5, Grand Theft Auto 4, Final Fantasy 8, Tekken 6, Metal Gear
That's right,
Rising
Final Fantasy
Revengeance,
8.
and LA Noire. Those were all supposed to be PS3 exclusives that the 360 snagged.
Really?
I remember Devil May Cry 4 was like the one that I remember. Then, of course, I'm very online, so when the fanboys would lose their minds that Devil May Cry was going to the Xbox, I remember that. But it was, we were talking about this a little before we started, too. This was really kind of the beginning of the end of the exclusive.
Yep.
Of course, you still had your first party games.
We've got them; they exist.
And
but
you know, and for Xbox, it's Gears, it's Halo. For PlayStation, it's Uncharted. For Nintendo, it's all of your
Mario.
all of the
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
All their games.
it's all the ones that your mom knows.
Yeah.
But to see that kind of die out, and I always kind of go back and forth on that because I am somebody that winds up usually having every console. But I always feel like, man, if I want to watch Star Wars, it works on a Panasonic DVD player and a Sony DVD player.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, I know that gaming was born out of basically being toys, and so we're going to do our thing, Sega's going to do their thing, but I kind of liked that democratization of every game being everywhere.
It was good for gamers.
Yeah, so locking things behind a $500 paywall to get a PS3, PS4, PS5
for one game.
for one game, yeah, it was nice to see that go away, and I feel like we're going back.
We are going.
Absolutely going back to it. There was so when 360 came out, there were several first-party games. Gears was probably the highest profile among them, but there were several high-profile exclusive games the first year or two. PS3 had a Gears. It wasn't a Gears clone, but it was up against it, and it was an alien invasion
Killzone?
game. No, it was
Resistance?
Resistance.
And
That's
Resistance
right.
Fall of Man.
Resistance Fall of Man.
Fall of
And
Man.
My
Resistance-
buddy had the actual gun attachment that you'd put your controller into,
forgot
and
they
he would
did
play with
that,
the gun
Really?
attachment. Yeah.
Have you played those? Have you played Resistance?
I
played
am
it.
not.
So compared to
not really
Gears,
my kind of game.
Resistance is total dog shit.
I
I mean,
believe
it is
that.
just not even on the same level. And I can feel, I don't remember it at the time, but I can imagine what somebody who was really passionate back, who would have been thinking about one game versus the other. Gears was on another level. Design wise, it was it took a lot of influence, but it also influenced a lot of games.
Also just
Resistance
story, dude.
It was great.
Just
Great
story.
voice acted. It was
Yeah.
everything about it. Resistance was dog shit.
It was terrible.
And I think that's something we should note.
Well, and that was a lot of that, and we'll probably talk about it on the Xbox side once we get to the end of the Xbox 360. But PlayStation, Sony got cocky. They got cocky with the PS2.
Yep.
They
PS2
overpriced.
was so popular.
I think it's the best-selling home console ever. I think that
It's either it or the Wii. It's one or the other.
I think it's beaten the Wii, but I think it's like the DS might have it beaten.
And
or
the
something
library.
Like
Does
that.
the Switch
library's
not have
bananas.
any of them?
I
beat
mean,
at
the,
this point?
the PS2 god tier, absolutely,
absolutely.
But they got cocky on that, so too high of a price for the PS3, too hard to program for, not a lot coming out of the gate with it. So that really gave Xbox that foothold to. And we saw this repeats, that cycle repeats itself all the time. Nintendo got cocky with the NES, and the Genesis came in and stole a ton of their thunder in the early 90s. Then, the Super Nintendo does well, but Sega's too cocky from the Genesis, and we get Sega CD and 32X, and then they bungle it with the
Crazy
Saturn.
Taxi, though.
Well, don't... if we ever do the Dreamcast episode, I want to be here for that.
My Dreamcast is still kicking.
Hell yeah. Fucking love
Great
that
system.
Incredible,
Dreamcast.
dude.
Great system.
Most underrated system ever released. But Sega got cocky, bungled it with the Saturn. PlayStation swoops in. They do great with the PlayStation and PlayStation 2. They get cocky. And then we get the Xbox, and then they got cocky, and we got the PS4.
Yep.
Just to be official, the PlayStation 2 is the highest selling video game console of all time with 157 million sold.
Fucking
Nintendo
hell.
DS is the number 2 with 154.
All right, so
And
they're
then-
that
Yes.
close.
And then we
The OG Game Boy clocking in
yeah,
with
they
That
Yeah,
makes
they
perfect
seem
sense,
tons of
honestly.
those.
I
Yeah.
think the Switch is next on that list, doesn't it?
PS4 116,
Oh, yeah.
number
Really?
5 Nintendo Switch 107, original PlayStation 102, number 7 is the Wii with 101, and then we drop into 8 with the PlayStation 3 with 87, and then followed by the Xbox 360 at 9 with 85.8.
And yeah, I know because like the 360 did huge here in the States and Europe, but
Nothing in
nothing
Japan.
in Japan.
Yeah.
Nothing
So
in Japan.
I know Sony had such a huge foothold,
Of course,
in
yeah.
Japan and the US. So the PS3 eventually found its footing. But I mean, those first few years of this generation, it was all 360.
Yeah, agreed. I think that was the last generation that was because the generation PS4 and Xbox One that was clearly dominated by PlayStation.
Clearly.
and the current one is all Nintendo and Sony. It's all Nintendo. Like Xbox
Yeah.
could not be fucking up any worse right now.
Yeah, but I still like the Xbox. I still
Oh, I
like
have
that
one, and I'll still play it just for some of their franchises. But man, some of the stuff they've been doing lately.
Well, they made that good point in that they lost this generation because they lost the Xbox One PS4 generation. That's where everybody built their digital library. And at that point,
Well, see, and we are in this like evolutionary shift with this right now, and you're bringing up a killer point. Is like we spend all this time, like you said, building up that digital library. Why the hell would I want to move over to this? I have everything here,
and that's
you know?
and that's kind of why I'm still
I'm
sticking.
stuck.
I'm still sticking with Xbox because I've bought so much on the 360.
Right.
I bought so much on the One.
Right.
So I've kind of
Same.
stuck with it on the Series X, and I'll get the PlayStation whenever they do the slim model or whatever. And
Yeah.
I'll get there.
It'll be here before you know it.
Yeah,
I think they're about to
God, well,
announce it or
I don't need to
something.
spend that kind of money right now. I got to fix
Nah.
my face. But we did kind of start to see that digital. We touched on that briefly too.
Yep.
It started out with those smaller games, your Geometry Wars, your Hexic, but that kept growing and growing. And then I remember when Shadow Complex came out. Do y'all remember?
Yeah.
I remember
Complex
Shadow
kinda-
It was
Complex.
2.5D side scroller.
It was kind of like a
Sci-fi.
Metroidvania type
Okay.
deal. I remember that. I think that may have been the one they broke because it used to be, it had to be a 25 meg limit. Couldn't be more than that to fit
Yeah.
on the hard drive.
Game's got to be more than
But
that.
as the hard drives kept growing, they kept like letting that get a little bit bigger and a little bit more, and we started seeing more of those games. And I played the shit out of so many of those little games, and that was kind of the beginning of the indie boom too.
The Xbox Live specifically was so good for gamers because you could get access to those bite-sized games. You didn't have to spend 50, 60, or $70. You had Bastion. You had things like you said, Hexic. My girlfriend at the time, Zuma. She played so much Zuma, that little
Forgot about Zuma.
puzzly ball shooter game, Shadow Complex. There were so many good Limbo. There were so many good games that came out of that, and it built a model because that's now that became Game Pass, and which Sony copied, and I mean it's kind of the model of those things going forward,
To be fair, too, I think Xbox, and I think last time we were on, we talked about this with the first generation of Xbox, but Xbox Live like absolutely revolutionized online console gaming.
Yeah.
Whereas like the first generation of Xbox versus PS2, dude, trying to play a game online on PS2 sucked.
Sucked.
I had it. I
sucked.
had the damn modem. The only thing I could ever get to work was Mortal Kombat Deception.
Yeah.
I think was the
Is it
only
any good?
The
online experience.
The
I mean.
online it would crap out a lot, but you were just like, yeah, that's just what it is
Yeah.
right now. But
Xbox Live made it.
for the most part it worked. But then like the first time, my brother had the original Xbox and with Xbox Live on it. And the first time playing like Halo co-op
Yeah,
on that, you were
dude.
like, holy shit, this is a whole
And it's
different world.
easy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
You just
it was
join
just-
the
It
lobby.
just
yeah.
works.
It just works.
Yes, that's a big thing.
And
Yeah.
and like I said, I'm not a huge online gamer, but having a system that was always online and being able to do it if I got the inclination,
Yeah.
and you could just so easily drop in and out.
Yep.
I'm trying to think of like Left 4 Dead was definitely a huge one for me.
Absolutely.
Gear-
That's an easy one to. You have to play that online,
Yeah,
kind of.
yeah. There's
it's
no
tough
point
on
in
your
playing
own,
it.
right,
Yeah, like
right.
Gears, I'm more of like the story guy.
Same.
Like,
Yeah.
But but definitely, I want to hear like what were the go-to games for y'all playing online.
Mine, a big one for me was Halo when I was younger, man. Halo was huge, dude. I mean, I was in the fucking wave of kids playing Halo, man. But Call of Duty, if there
yeah.
was something Call of Duty related, if I could go to Nuketown,
Call
And
of Duty
spend
4
all
through
day on
Modern
Nuketown
Warfare 3 were all
24/7.
really great
Yeah,
games.
they
were
were
killer.
We
great.
forget how good
Yeah.
Call of Duty was.
COD at one time was a fucking killer
Incredible.
series.
I mean,
So good.
I even bought Modern Warfare 2, and that
Modern
is
Warfare 2 is so good.
1,000% not my kind of game.
Sure.
But it was like, it would be like not watching the Super Bowl
Yeah.
to not
Yeah.
get
Yes.
that.
Too important. Not
Yeah.
to play it, not to check it out.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and all those games just had like so many moments of just like each stage was like just another gigantic action piece followed by another set piece followed by a set piece. Like there's the one where you're like fighting through a suburban section of an American city and you're fighting at like a fucking McDonald's and shit.
Yeah.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
like dudes are rolling up on you in Humvees and stuff
Yeah.
and paratroopers are coming
Shit
out
was
of the
wild.
sky and you're like sniping people. It's like holy shit, this is amazing.
Absolutely. It's a big step up from PS2, what was it? Medal of Honor Frontline.
Oh,
on
yeah.
PS2, which was incredible.
Or like the SOCOM games.
Or any of the SOCOM games, because SOCOM was a bitch to play online.
Yes.
It was not an easy thing to set up and get just working.
Yeah.
Whereas Xbox, I really do stand wholeheartedly, and I think everybody's got it down now, but Xbox changed the script in regards to like making online gaming easy. And I'm not a big online gamer either, but if I want to,
The funniest
I'm
thing
there.
is the online game I probably play the most now is Splatoon.
oh yeah.
Really? It's relaxing. I don't have to have a headset on.
Yeah.
You can just kind of pick up and have that arcade feel to it. That's my kind. I don't like anything where there are going to be people that take it way more
Yeah.
seriously than I
Dude.
do.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
gotta
kills
mute
me.
it. Gotta
Of course,
mute everybody.
Xbox Live was also the birth of 15-year-olds telling me that they fucked
Humping
my mom.
Master Chief's head while while they
little
say
teabag.
nasty shit to you. Yeah. Yeah.
But so
Teabagging.
I think that's gotten a lot better over the years, particularly as our generation grows up, and we can probably find a lot more cool, chill people playing online. But
I think the communities have gotten a lot better. If I do get on something, I've noticed a much more friendly community. Although sometimes you miss some of the depravity of the Wild West.
Well, that's kind of early internet talk in
'Cause it
general.
got
I mean, we could
wild.
go on a whole early tangent about early.
There's a
internet.
whole episode about that.
Yeah,
Oh,
for
my God.
sure. Oh yeah, you ever did
That
what
should-
you into about AOL?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Sam, what you got, man?
Oh, there was something that was happening that time is that broadband internet was becoming affordable for everyone.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
so before then, the early 2000s, the late 90s, early 2000s, the only place to find broadband was in a dorm room, at a college dorm room. Because every school had a T1. And so your dorm room, I remember playing Quake 2 at an Ohio State dorm
Fucking
room
Quake,
in like
dude.
97. And like it was dope as fuck. But to get that same good experience, you had to either do a LAN party, which was so much setup and work.
Yep.
But with broadband internet in the mid 2000s, I remember that was my first apartment that had it.
Yeah.
And once you got the Xbox 360 on the broadband internet, you're fucking set, man. You don't have to do
Yeah.
anything. It wasn't that hard. It just kind of worked.
You're playing Halo all night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I played a lot of Gears 1. I was trying to get the achievement called Seriously that was 10,000 kills. So I played so much of that. And then when Gears 2 came out, there was Horde mode. Which was
Yes.
the first game with a good Horde mode.
sweet.
Yep.
I played so much Horde mode. And then I also
I mean,
played
that
a
was
lot.
pre Call of Duty Zombies.
No,
Yeah,
that was the
and all
template
that.
for well, I think it is a template for that sort of game style.
Right.
Yeah, the
I
Horde
think
going
Horde
forward.
mode birthed.
For sure.
Yeah.
And the Gears 2 Horde mode is still really fucking great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they've kept it up in each release, and
Yes.
it gets more tuned, and it's fucking awesome. But I played a lot of, this is kind of a weird one, I played a lot of Mass Effect Online. Mass Effect 2 and 3 had online modes that were kind of fun.
I totally forgot. I did play a shit ton of those because you would get gear
That would-
that would transfer over into the story, right?
Yes,
yeah.
exactly.
Oh yeah. I played a lot of
There's
that.
a lot of co-op online.
And I actually got halfway decent at it. And
That's great.
That's a lot of, that was kind of a lot of my barrier to entry is like, if I'm not the best at it, I don't want to get involved.
Sure,
So
sure.
is why I don't play fighting games online because I'm terrible at them, but I love them.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I actually got pretty good at Mass 2 and 3. Both were
3
really
had the
good.
one I really think I enjoyed. It had class-based stuff.
Yeah.
And it was cooperative, so you were playing with one, two, or three other people, and it was like a horde mode thing. There was a repeatable wave of enemies, and they
Yeah.
got harder, and you're right, it did kind of file into the main game, kind of cheaply, but at least it felt,
I could talk about Mass Effect all day.
Yeah.
Dude,
those,
Mass
those
Effect was-
first
Mass
3
Effect.
games.
Mass Effect was
My
the one, yeah.
God,
huge.
Well,
I mean, that is the Xbox to me. That's the 360 to me. Is those games.
we will definitely be talking Mass Effect because let's go ahead and do this. Let's go ahead and just close out the system section of this. Xbox 360 gets announced that on May 21st, 2013, the Xbox One will happen, and in 2015, support for the Xbox 360 goes away in terms of games. Which, let's talk the games, because this is what the system made. Sam, what did you hit me with upstairs? How many games got made for this fucking system?
When I looked earlier today, it said 2154.
Jesus,
I was looking
HS
up,
Christ.
I was looking up the backwards compatibility thing I was talking about, and I think they made, like today, the Xbox Series X game, you can throw in a 360 or an original Xbox disc, and in a lot of cases it will play. I think they've backwards engineered like 600 360 games for the current system.
Nuts.
And I was like, yeah, that's a hell of a lot of games, and then saw that there was 2100, which is a bananas library. That's like a PS2 sized library.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Bananas.
Monster.
But they don't have those 10-year. I remember when the 360 came out, they were like, this is the new, is it 10 years, the life cycle of a video game system?
Yeah.
Like, that's what it's going to be. And the one lasted like 4 years.
Yeah.
The Xbox One. And I mean, it was kind of it was almost like a bumper console
in between.
generation. But that, I mean, 10 years, that was fucking awesome.
That was great.
And I don't
good
think
10
this.
years.
I don't.
Yes, it was.
I don't think this gen will last that long either. I think this is a little bit of a lost gen because of COVID.
Yeah,
I think so
agreed.
much stuff got fucked over with that I don't think this one will be terribly long for this world. Although the PS5's doing so well, they might.
They're so powerful.
Yeah.
But these
How much
systems are
better can it really get?
Yeah, you don't need better graphics.
I sound
Let's
like
just-
my dad at this point. Give me an old rotary phone. Everything's gonna be fine.
I want some tubes plugged into
And
it.
the Unreal Engine version 2 and a DualSense.
Give me Quake. You know what
Absolutely.
I mean? Right.
But yeah, I mean, that library was massive.
Massive.
I remember I lost shelf space because I'm also a big movie collector. And so for me, anything that gets in the way of my movies, I'm like, all right, I got to find something else. So that's when I started putting my 360 games in binders, like DVD binders.
Yeah,
and I have
Nice.
2 giant binders. They're like this. I know this
Jesus.
is great for a podcast when I do a motion with my hands. It's probably like 6-7 inches thick.
Sizable fish.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's a sizable fish just filled with 360 games and a couple Wii U, but but it's all 360, and it's stuff like I was playing stuff that I never would have played as a kid. Like as a teenager and stuff, I very much I watched my next door neighbor and my brother play a lot of stuff, but a lot of games I just never got into. But the 360 was really where I was like, I will play anything if it's getting some hype. I'm here for it. I will check it out. It's, like I said, Modern Warfare 2. Totally not my kind of game. But even then, I'm like, I got to know.
You gotta
I
check
got
it
to
out.
know what
Yeah.
this is like.
And you gotta love it. It was so good.
Yeah.
I mean,
it was
it really
so good. Was that the birth of Nuketown? Modern Warfare 2?
I think.
I think so. I'm not a huge COD guy, but I do remember that being like one of the big selling points.
Oh,
Let-
chef's kiss, dude.
All right, guys, we've kind of been like playing touch butt with this. Let's just go full hog and dive in. Gears of War trilogy 1 through 3. Holy fucking shit! One of my favorite trilogies of all time. I love the aesthetic of the game. I love the graphics of the game. I love that everybody in this game is like a fucking 250-pound NFL linebacker.
Yeah, yeah.
and then everybody
Their
just
forearms and calves are
Yeah.
all gigantic.
everybody's huge, and then they're fighting fucking lizard rockmen that are also just as huge, and everybody has guns. Look like something like Rob Liefeld would draw on X-Force in the
Dude,
90s.
nice call.
Like,
Yeah.
it's insane what this game looks like, and it was so much fun.
They, after Gears 1, they released Gears 2 a couple years later, and then 3, and they did tune the system a little. I mean, the graphics got they got better. Like, Gears 3
Absolutely.
looked great.
I
They
think
looked
there was
markedly
good
better.
jumps with each of them.
Oh,
honestly.
absolutely, for sure.
But yeah, by 3.
I mean, the
Absolutely.
game. I feel like they were getting the most they could out of that system, and there were some big battles in there
Yeah.
that were different than the game. Because when the first one came out, like I said, it was these compact hallways, almost very linear game.
Yeah.
But by the time they get to 3, there was these big cauldron set pieces, a lot like Halo was famous
Where you're
for.
wandering around like you have to find
Yes.
the hole to get into, or
Yes.
the thing to do, or the button to push.
Yeah, and I was never really a big shooter guy on anything, but the cover-based shooting in that is really what I was like, oh, now I
Cerebral.
can play this.
Yes.
Now I know how to play this. Now I
slow.
know. Yeah, and I was typically the kind of person that's like, I was going to go and shoot everybody. But like, yeah, if I tried to play GoldenEye on the N64 and not like playing with friends, I never would make it very far. Perfect Dark, I never made it very far in that game. Just not something I was good at. But Gears was one of those things that was like, no, we've made it accessible. Now everybody can play this. Still hard, still challenging, especially if you bump up the difficulty to what was insane. Is the high gears to this day. Nope. I think I got through hard.
I think I
got
finished
through.
the first act on Insane one time, but it was it took
Of course,
way too much time. That was good.
I say all this, and I'm like, I played all three. I played those first three, and I remember going back and trying to play the remaster, and I'm terrible at it now. Like I've been so rusty on Gears that like I really got to go in and
Those remasters looked. The first one
first
was a
one?
remaster,
Oh.
just looked outstanding.
gorgeous.
Such a beautiful game. There was when that game came out, it followed up Resident Evil 4, which was originally on the Cube, and Resident Evil 4 was such a classic, but also stylistically, game design wise, so much of Resident Evil 4 was completely copied by Gears of War.
Yeah.
They added a lot of amazing design things like one button cover system,
Yes.
active reloads,
Yep.
a lot of stuff like that. But Resident Evil 4 was very similar. That stop and pop in Resident Evil 4, when you aimed, you couldn't move. So in the first one, the original. But there's a fight in Resident Evil 4 where you fight a blind monster. Mm-hmm. Do you remember that? Mm-hmm. It's Gears of War just copied it for the Berserker fight.
Yep.
Right in the middle of the game. It was like Act 3, and it was just copied. I mean, it was the set piece was almost the exact same, but it was so cool that they were not shy about what they aped off of it.
Yes.
But then Gears influenced so many games after. There were so many cover shooters. Cover wasn't even a thing.
No.
Nobody had
It
figured
really
out.
wasn't.
Nobody had figured it out.
Yeah.
It never worked. It was either too sticky or it didn't. Gears of War, they finally figured out that A button did everything.
That roadie run, doing that roadie,
Roadie
run.
run,
is
yes.
so
Oh.
God.
And actually being able to like think and use things like flanking, and also having the AI use flanking against
Yes.
you,
Yeah.
to where like you could get pinned down, you could get stuck in a crossfire. in
You
this
really
game,
had
and
to
it
pay
would fuck
attention
you
to your
up.
enemy.
I often did.
Yeah. We also got the Hammer of Dawn in those games, which is also incredible. Which was you speaking about the Berserker reminded me of that. Like, what a cool idea of like this laser god from space that cuts down from
The
a
sound.
satellite and just
There was a
the
sound.
sound to it and just rips through everything on the ground and decimates all of it.
It's that moment that it really starts to feel cinematic. It really starts to feel like
Yes.
you're playing a movie, and
The roadie run was big for that.
Yeah.
and
too.
of course we can get into a lot of like the Telltale games from the 360
Oh, yeah.
era too, and that was like really playing a movie.
Very
But
recommended.
like having this action movie unfold around you, and like you said, that sound, that build up to using the hammer, and like and we got to have the clear sky, and like here we like. That
There
was
was
just
sound when the sky was clear. It was like beep beep or something.
so
I
much
can't-
it's like
lore going
you're ready.
into it. Like
Yeah.
it's
Lot
building
of
up
lore.
to this awesome moment. And then when you see it, it actually like feels like it's supposed to. And it's not like, oh, they almost got it. Like, oh, it's almost like this perfect scene for scene movie. But like, that's where they nailed it. That's when gaming became
I almost forgot
a
about
movie.
that as well and how epic that was.
Yeah,
Like
everything felt like it had weight.
Yeah,
absolutely.
everything, and you
Game.
cared about the characters because they were very distinct. Like Marcus is very serious, and all that, but then you got like Cole, woo, baby, and like everything is like just he's just having a blast.
I'm pretty
He's just
sure
having
that was
such a good
actually
time.
voiced by a linebacker
Yeah,
in
it
the
was.
NFL. I forget who it was.
Terry Crews, office linebacker. It was the
No,
guy.
it was,
or not Terry Crews. It was the office linebacker guy, though.
Wasn't it? Yeah, I
Yeah.
can't remember what his name is.
What was that commercial?
Tate?
Yeah, Terry Tate, office linebacker.
Is that who it was?
Yeah,
Yes.
it was that guy, and
And-
he was the Cole train baby.
And of course,
That's right, the Coal Train.
Of course, Bender from Futurama is Marcus.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
My buddy said this the other day. He said Cole is Michelangelo, and Dom
shit.
is yeah.
Oh, shit.
Marcus is Leo.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you can go down, and they're just the turtles. And it's not dead on, but it's not that bad. It's not that bad.
So who's Raphael?
Raphael is probably Dom.
That makes sense.
That makes
Yeah,
sense. He
he's
is
the
sad.
serious. He's also the guy who gets the most serious.
He's
arc.
angsty.
Yeah.
The whole-
Yeah.
I
Very
think
It
so.
is angsty.
I think so.
And I mean, that was that
And
perfect.
Baird is Donatello, the nerd.
Yeah,
The gadget guy.
He is
Yeah,
the gadget
I
guy.
like it.
The
Holy
perfect time of that too, where it was like early 2000s, like MMA is really blowing up and like being like a bro. It's like,
Yeah.
like
Aggro
it was
as
just
fuck.
so like, aggro as fuck. I mean, that's the, it was
So much
was.
testosterone.
It's, and looking back on it now, it's a little silly, but it was so much fun at the time.
There's game reviewers, like I think Kotaku wrote, I can't remember who did a review that I read back then, but you could tell the reviewer was embarrassed by how much they like these characters. Because like these dudes are all like filled to the brim with testosterone,
Yep.
they walk around like their dicks are 3 feet long and they're just so like, it's so broy. And these reviewers would be like, whoa, if you get past the shit, fuck getting past that. Like this, just love it.
It's
They're so
like-
meat-headed.
It knows what it is. And
Absolutely.
like that's
Yes.
like
Unapologetic.
It's but not like but not gross about it.
Nah.
Like it's just a big dumb jock that's like here to have a good time.
Yeah.
Like that's Gears of War, and that was kind of the 360 in general. Just the big dumb jock
Not
here to
bad.
have a good time.
It's a good analogy.
I still have a playlist called Kill the Horde, which was dedicated to, I would put it on as I would play Horde mode in Gears of War. And of course, it's just nothing but metal. Because,
Perfect.
I'm fucking chainsawing
Perfect.
300-pound reptile men in half. Like, I need metal for this.
Absolute metal. The chainsaw. That is the most ridiculous.
Yeah, the chainsaw
Chainsaw
bayonet.
bayonet.
Right. It's the most ridiculous thing, and it worked so great. It was such
Do you
a
remember?
good gameplay.
Do you remember the first one? That was like the stamp of like the logo was. The
Oh,
chainsaw
yeah,
bayonet
yeah.
Around the text on
Oh,
the
yeah,
cover,
oh,
it was
yeah.
like that was the thing. It was like you have a chainsaw bayonet. Like,
So meatheadish, but so awesome, dude.
dude, I had the pre-order. I had the little metal cased one.
Nice.
word.
And it came with a bunch of concept art and all that stuff. It was cool, man.
I like that the Lancer has become an iconic weapon.
Yes.
Like I
Yeah.
saw a plastic
Yes.
Lancer in a comic book shop a couple months ago, and I
Makes you
knew
smile.
instantly. Yes, it does. It just makes
Yeah.
me happy.
Yeah. You know exactly what it is when you see it.
Absolutely.
Well, let's transition to another Xbox franchise. Let's talk Halo 3, 4, and Reach. Again, we talked about epic commercials. I always think back to the Halo 3 commercial they did with the marionettes, the little puppets, where it's like this gigantic battle, and they're playing that beautiful like piano, and then you see like the Space Marines are just all getting fucked up, and like one dude's getting drug off by like the imps or some shit.
That's right.
Like he's gonna get like murder tortured or whatever, and then it's like one of the big dudes is like holding up Master Chief, and then you just see like glint go across his face visor, and you see in his hand he's holding the grenade,
Yeah.
and it's just like, all right, I gotta play this.
Those were some serious productions. Those commercials.
And those games. I mean,
Oh,
that
God.
was the system seller, but I have to confess, not a Halo guy.
Not a Halo guy.
It's one of those things. It's eluded me. It's like, oh, maybe I'll get to it, but I'm so not a shooter guy.
Yeah.
That I was definitely into
And
Gears.
that is way more of just a straightforward. You're just jumping around shooting.
Yep.
shooting.
Yeah, and I'm like, I tried going back. I got the Master Chief collection when that came out. And I was like, this is gonna be my moment. I'm gonna get into Halo, and it's just not for me. So please sell me on Halo.
Well, I played 1 through 3, and I recently did Reach. I actually never played 4.
Great multiplayer, pretty bad campaign.
Yeah, in
It
a
was my
weird
call.
way,
Yeah.
Halo walked so that Fortnite could run and jump around and then teabag people.
Fair.
Yeah, because
I can see that line being drawn there.
yeah,
that-
because it's the exact opposite of what you would find in Gears. It was very distinctively different because like within Gears, again, we talked about the cover based shooter that you had to think and shit. Halo is fucking go 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 boom 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 boom
Jump,
and
jump,
just-
jump, jump,
yeah
jump.
jump
Right,
and
right.
just drop shit.
Right.
I was not a huge Halo guy either. It was a lot for me. It was a lot like Call of Duty. I think I've played at least 1 hour of each Halo that came out. I did finish Reach recently that was in the Master
Same,
Chief collection.
yeah.
They added it, I think, after. Yeah, I played.
It's
through
big.
It's beautiful.
It was fun.
I mean, but I don't think I finished many of them. It didn't do much for me either.
Yeah, I know my brother and we played the first one on the original Xbox. Like we
That
did
was
the
the
campaign
moment.
together, and that was like right when it dropped. So that was a big deal, and I was terrible at it, but my brother got us through it. But it just never really one of those things that's spoken to me.
Yeah.
But that's the beauty and the diversity of the system. There's
Yeah.
so much.
Yeah.
For me, I always kind of saw the Halo series as like it was the pop culture thing that was for a kid that was 10 years younger than me. And so the way I look at it is like my shit is like as a child is G.I. Joe and Transformer, whereas somebody who was 5 years after me, it was Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, and then somebody who was a decade after me was Pokemon. And I think this is kind
I
of
liked
like
all these things.
I know,
man.
right?
I liked all of them.
We have the baby.
But what I was looking at you for was like mutual friend Patrick Seda is a huge Halo guy, and
Yeah,
so
he's
you know
big
the reverence I have for like Mario because that was me as a child growing up and playing Mario games.
Yeah.
Pat has for Master Chief and Halo.
He has it big time for Master Chief and Halo, big time. Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually grew up big Mario, hard. Like also like Game Boy, gray Game Boy. But yeah, I was big into Halo through 3, and then I think the other stuff was happening. I mean, Elder Scrolls was happening. You know, was it Oblivion on 360?
Yeah.
That was Oblivion happened, dude. Oblivion and Fallout when both those games.
Yeah.
That was all I was doing.
Fallout 3, man.
Spoiler alert, we're holding those bad boys for the end
Yeah,
'cause we all know how
save
much
that
it
as
is.
it's the gold nugget.
Well, let's transition to this. So, Ray, you brought up the Xbox Arcade, and I think this dovetails into a list of kind of indie stuff that I had on here as well. What was some of the shit that you were playing with the arcade, and what attracted you to it?
We've talked briefly about Limbo. Like, that was one that I really loved. Like, that's again, when you're starting to see these games that, and you saw it a little bit on the Dreamcast. Like, I was really big in like Jet Set Radio on the Dreamcast, and when cell shading got big. But then, as we transitioned to that next evolution, the art style got really, really honed in, and you could do things that you couldn't do before. Limbo is just gorgeous to look at. It's scary as hell and just so moody. Braid is another game like that, a little prettier, a little more colorful.
What an awesome
And yeah, with the rewind
Awesome
element to it. I think what really when they re-released Symphony of the Night on the 360,
That's
that was
right.
cool. Like, finally getting to play through that. Shadow Complex was a big one, getting to do like Metroid, but a little bit more of a modern setting. But still felt like Metal Gear and Metroid kind of mixed together.
That's a really good description of
And
it.
in like 2D, 2.5D.
There were some big mechs in it too.
Yeah,
So.
I loved that game. It's just, you've got the rebirth of Mega Man, like Mega Man 9, or was it Mega Man 10, came out on the 360 arcade, and just, you started to see what was, I grew up on Super Nintendo. That was like my big deal. So to start to see that style come back as something I could pick up and play as like a little bite-sized game, that was really fun. And that's what anytime somebody does Super Nintendo stuff, I'm there.
I agree with you. I feel like the arcade was very Super Nintendo because there was a lot of 2D stuff. You mentioned Limbo. Listener, to kind of paint a picture of that, Limbo was a game that was very black and white.
Yeah.
Extremely like almost like you're in like a weird nightmare, and it's just a lot of heavy black and like cell shaded stuff. It's all 2D. I was a big fan of Castle Crashers.
I love Castle Crashers.
I grew up on fucking side scroll and beat 'em up. Like I love, if you give me a game where I just have to walk right and punch things, I'm in. Yeah, and Castle Crashers definitely scratches
Scratch
that itch of like Final Fight, Streets of Rage, Double Dragon, all that shit.
But also kind of it brought that into a little bit of a newer thing, because like every time you get a little bit better. You get a new power up. You get just a little bit stronger. You get a new weapon, and there was so much to buy, so much to upgrade, and then you could play as all the characters. And then when they remastered it, oh man, I think it's on the Switch. Maybe I should bust that back
get
out.
that out.
Yeah,
So you were saying something about it earlier. I think I'm gonna have to check it out on the Switch. That sounds awesome.
We got 4 dudes right here. You just
Yeah.
let me know when y'all want to get together on the Switch
Yeah,
with
man.
Castle Crashers.
Yeah, we can crash some passes.
What you saw during those smaller indie games were that design was more important than the amount of people working on the game, for God's sakes, because it felt like, and this started in the 360, but a lot of every game started to look very similar. They all
Yes.
turned into open world RPG-ish games. They all turned into like games as a service, like the new Assassin's Creed games, which I've finished and love. But they all but with the indie games, they didn't feel like anything else. Like Limbo didn't feel anything like anything else
Yes.
at all. And what's the other one you mentioned? The Rewind?
Braid.
Braid didn't feel anything like anything we'd ever seen. There was 2D jumping, but everything else about it, the art style was the most important thing, and the style was more important than,
I think that's what I really loved about it, because it wasn't just retro. It wasn't just we're doing Super Nintendo games. We're taking that and what could we do if we were still making games like that?
Yeah.
And nobody made games like that. And we started to see that come back, particularly like mid-life cycle. Like, you remember PlayStation 2, every fighting game had to be 3D.
Yeah.
Like, nobody was putting out 2D fighters anymore. And then like mid-life cycle, Street Fighter 4 makes it okay again. And then we get the Mortal Kombat reboot, which was great. The other thing that I really loved about early 360 in the arcade was there were so many classic games on it, like Paperboy was on, like a lot of those kind of games.
right.
And it was, the Virtual Console came very soon after, and Nintendo really kind of perfected that with the Wii. But you were starting to get a little bit like those old school games that you could go back and play. that you didn't have to bust out the old console. You didn't have to go buy this disc that has 100 retro games on it. It was like $5, man. You want to play Paperboy? Hell yeah, I want to play Paperboy.
Yeah, I look at a lot of these games that came out, these indie games, things like Super Meat Boy and stuff like
Explosion Man.
Trials Evolution, all that kind of stuff. It was like, look, we know we can't compete with the big guys in terms of graphics. So what we need to do is we need to put together incredible gameplay or a good story. Our strength is not this. Our strength is the story and the elements of play. That's what we're making this for. And I think it's akin to almost like art house films or something like that, or like something like A24 would put out, where like Gears of War and Halo are like your Marvel movies, your big cinematic, Top Gun. But then, you got something that comes out like Castle Crashers, which is like, oh, it's like Heredity, or, Midsommar, where it's like, have you heard about this? You should check this out. You'd fucking like it. Yeah. And then it's like, oh shit, this is super cool.
Yeah, there's a lot of that stuff, a lot of those hidden gems that would pop up. And to me, that was really that opened up that space to developers that didn't have money. But we're also starting to see, like, right around that time, smartphones starting to become a thing, and anybody can develop a game now. And you started to see more and more. Now, of course, we got a lot of shit they have to sift through.
A majority of it,
right? Yeah, there's a lot of shovelware out there, especially, we're talking this year, the Wii was just loaded with it. But the fact that more people could get into it and do something really creative, even if they were limited by their budget and the technology that was available to them. There were Explosion Man. I probably spent more time with that than 90% of the games that I played on the 360.
There was a great game called Bastion. I don't know if we mentioned it
No,
yet. I think
what's
we were
that?
talking about it before
We were talking about it, I think, before we
from
went
the
on.
maker of the people that made Hades. And Bastion was, I think, their first console exclusive. They released Bastion, and then they did a game called Transistor and another one or two before they got to Hades.
Yeah, I
which
haven't
was,
played anything in between Bastion and Hades.
I haven't either.
But Hades,
Hades is amazing. But Bastion, when it came out, was an isometric adventure game, like an isometric beat 'em up. Not too different than Hades, not quite as crisp, but it was that same sort of 3/4 view. And it was narrated by a voice actor. The whole game was narrated. It's only like a 2.5 hour playthrough. If you would have told me that something like a narrated game would be good and you wouldn't get sick of it, I wouldn't have believed it. But the game had such a distinct style. You know what I mean? You heard that guy. The gameplay was really crisp.
Yeah.
That's how you didn't need to make a fucking 40-hour game. You didn't need to make something that was going to be online for a million years. You could make this really crisp 2, 3, 4 hour tight set, so to speak.
and it was because it was $10, 10, 15, 20 bucks.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
that to me
Give it
was
a
such
shot.
a huge part of this system. And again, I didn't have to go to the store and I could just download it, and as long as I had enough hard drive space. but having that ecosystem where, like, if my console dies with the Red Ring of Death and I just get a new one and all my stuff's there.
It's all there.
Yeah, it's
Like
all there.
that was a
Revolutionary.
complete game changer.
Yes, agreed.
One of the big ones for me was Valiant Hearts: The Great War, which you very rarely ever see World War One. Until recently, number one, World War One movies, even let alone video games. And what an incredible, beautiful story where you get to play as multiple different people who were experiencing World War One. Some soldiers and some not, and that was like a big part of it. Is like you live the life of different people before the war, and then you live their life during the war, and then you see their life after the war, and it's fucking heartbreaking.
And you know what? I remember you, like, really waving the flag for that game years ago.
Yeah.
And I still have never got to it. I really got to sit down and play that.
Well, bring some tissues because it is a
Fair
sad
enough.
one. Well, one thing I didn't put on the list, but you guys brought up was Alan Wake. What the fuck's up with this game?
Ooh.
The greatest. This is my favorite game maker, Remedy, and the guy who writes it, his name is Sam Lake. I think he's Finnish. They started with Max Payne 1 and 2 on the previous gen, which I think were released for PS2 and Xbox.
Yep, I played
think
Max
so,
Payne
yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, and then they did Max Payne 2, and then they made Alan Wake, which was just, it was like a Stephen King book, which is already up my alley.
Perfect.
Mixed with the setting of, now I'm totally blanking. Awesome podcast guy. Twin Peaks.
Yeah, it was like Twin Peaks.
Twin
yeah.
Peaks meets a Stephen King novel, and
Okay.
it was just
noir-y.
it was, yeah, and the voice acting was super good. The writing was very good for that generation because video game writing is, it's still pretty shitty, but back then it was even shittier.
Yeah.
But this was very distinctly written. The gameplay was really, really tight. That's a fantastic game. Moody as hell, and about like a 12 or 14 hour playthrough. So it
Which is not
respected your
bad.
time. Not at all. You
You
know?
can crank that out.
Yeah, absolutely. You can have a
Yeah.
good time without getting tired.
Yeah.
And I've probably replayed that a couple times. They just remastered it a couple years back, and I think it's definitely worth it. The games he's made since then, he made Quantum Break, which was on the Xbox One. That was an Xbox One exclusive. Didn't sell very well. It was totally awesome. And then Control, which won just about every award 2 years ago.
I actually
heard a
played
lot
a
of
bunch
stuff
of
about
Control. I never beat it, but I played
I
it.
got to get into Control.
I played it. I beat it twice. It's fantastic.
Dude, it's a trippy game,
It
though,
is
too.
wild.
It is mind
Well, those
bender.
games. I mean, that's Alan Wake's a lot like that too. The last act or two go off the rails, and it becomes. It's almost like remember when Lost got
Yeah.
really off the rails, and you
Yeah.
just kind of accepted it. You were like, cool, now they're fucking time traveling or whatever the
weird.
hell.
Yeah.
That's the way his games work. The last act, like Alan Wake, gets fucking wild at the end.
Because Control got wild, and I was probably
Real
about
weird.
halfway through, and it was like,
it's a great
hell
game.
is
That's
going on?
probably
But it
my
was-
favorite game in the last 4 or 5 years.
yeah.
It's so
Pat
funny
hates
that-
Control, and he gives me shit for loving it.
Oh, it's so
Like,
good.
dude, it's one I will finish, but it was something I was waiting on came out, something
Yeah.
I'd been dying and waiting for, but
yeah.
There are a
yeah.
lot of those games from that era that are very divisive. A lot of games that like either you love
absolutely.
it or you hate it. Alan Wake was definitely one of those. I feel like Control is one of those now. And I generally find myself if everybody is like if it's really split and there are people that are like hardcore like no, I don't like this game. This is not my thing. It's usually going to be my thing. And Alan Wake
I'm
was one
playing
of those.
that.
Like
Alan Wake was-
Alan Wake
yeah.
one. I mean, that was 100% up my alley. Not the most fun mechanics to play a game, but getting through that story didn't matter.
It was so well written.
Yeah, I love. And to your point, like video game writing, it's come a long way. It's still not. A lot of times, folks are like, "Oh yeah, we're right there with Hollywood now." No, you're not. we're
Not
not
at all.
quite. We're not quite there yet. But for telling a story in that medium, Alan Wake is a good example of it.
Yeah, I think that was and that system was the first time you could do something wild like that. Set pieces where the entire whatever world or level you're at blows apart and becomes something
Yeah.
new. That wasn't really possible in the previous system. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it would, and if you tried something like that, you'd have 8 hours of load times. to
Yeah,
go through it.
exactly,
Like, so, yeah. I think going back, I think the like Metal Gear could pull off something like that, but it was pretty rare.
Sure.
in
Yeah.
anything beforehand. But
It was a divisive game, but it was definitely a big one for me.
I love a divisive game. I love a divisive game. Usually, if like everybody agrees a game is dog shit, I'm usually like, okay, this is probably.
Well, you haven't
dog
played
shit.
Control?
I have not played Control.
Highly recommend.
I think that's going to be.
They finally found a gameplay loop that matches the quality of the writing.
Yeah.
Because the gameplay is just wild.
dude, it can get very intense, but it's very unique. It is a standalone, much like from the sounds of things, Alan Wake was also for the time very unique, et cetera, et cetera. This one, and my buddy Pat and I have had a few back and forths about this. But in my opinion, this game, incredibly unique, exciting, bizarre, like very bizarre, trippy, weird.
I will.
It's a bit of a mind fuck a little bit.
What I love in a game
It's dark.
is if somebody takes a big swing, even if you don't.
They took a
even
big
if you
swing.
don't
Yep.
hit it out of the park. I love when somebody takes a big swing.
It's a big swing.
And
yeah.
I think through this generation,
I
through the
loved it.
360 is where I started to kind of fall out of a lot of AAA gaming, and I
Yeah.
started to look for a lot more of that. So anything that's a little weird, a little outside the norm, that's usually what's going to take my attention these days.
It's at least worth the good old college try.
I would agree.
You can always drop out.
That's fair.
Well, here's a game series that was a big swing, and I don't think it's very divisive. It's one of my favorite game series of all time, Rock Band.
Oh yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Oh yeah.
Dude, talk about the ultimate partying. Because, like, you play Guitar Hero and that was fun, but then to be able to, and it was like the same, like, stoner conversation everybody would have where it's like, dude, what if, like, not just we had plastic guitars, but we had, like, plastic drums and, like, plastic bass. What if?
It was exactly
What
how
if we
they came
get?
up with
What if
that.
we sang?
Yeah. And then Harmonix was like, yeah, why don't we fucking do that? And then they made Rock Band. And holy shit, when I had an experience with this, like you had with the X getting you the Xbox 360. I had a bunch of friends that went in. They knew how much I love Guitar Hero, and they bought me Rock Band 1.
Oh, cool.
With
That's
like the
awesome.
drums and the
Dude,
guitar
good
and
for those
everything.
guys.
And I remember that party for the rest of my life, just us that first night, just for like 8-10 hours in my fucking living room, just getting drunk on PBR and rocking out.
Yeah, man.
I will tell you, I doubt that there is a series of games that I have put more hours into in my life
Than Rock
than
Band.
I was obsessed with Rock Band. I remember when Rock Band 2 hit, I had just gotten laid off from my job, and I was like, what the fuck else am I going to do? So I'm just going to play Rock Band all day and all night. And I got good on expert. Never a person that can get like through the Dragon Force songs 5 stars or anything like that. But oh my God, I loved those games. And to this day, if I hear "Should I Stay or Should I Go," I'm like, because I've heard that song so many goddamn times in Rock Band, and the amount of money I spent on downloadable songs on that. I mean, that's the downloadable content game, and that's really something we haven't gotten into yet. Is your games don't stop at buying them anymore.
Do you want the Beatles package? Do you want the 90s grunge package?
I bought that Beatles game.
Right.
Oh my God. That was another huge part of this era is your games aren't over when they're over.
Yeah.
More stuff is coming. And the fact that it was like, what was it there early on in those first few years when it was at its peak, they were putting out like 10 songs a week.
Oh yeah, it was nuts. You could like down, and then of course when they would release a new game, you would get like new tattoos, new gear for your, and that was the fun part was like making these bands, and that was the other fun thing was like you would make your character that you'd want to make, and the bands would make no sense together. So like you would have like your bass player look like they're in Guar, and then like the lead singer looks like Tegan from Tegan and Sarah, and it's like what the fuck is happening?
This is the greatest band ever.
Yeah.
I came this close to doing it, and hindsight being 2020, I'm glad. There was a point that when that series was at its peak, they offered you could get your character made as a sculpture.
Yes.
And it was I think it was like
remember
150 200 bucks
Yeah,
or something like that.
yeah.
And I remember the only thing that kept delaying me from it is like, but what outfit do I pick?
Yeah.
What outfit do I pick? And like I loved that game, and my character, it was an evolution. She evolved through every game there was. God. And even when they put out Rock Band 4 on the one, I played a lot of that. But that game and that DLC and the character creation and the fact that like a new game would come out and you get 60 new songs. I'm like, yeah, that's worth it. I'm spending $60 a month on this damn thing anyway. God. And the fact that you could take your songs over and import them into the next game, minus a couple here and there if Metallica was feeling a little shitty that week. But for the most part, all your songs went over and you could keep playing that library. It just kept getting bigger. I'm down for a big Rock Band comeback.
I think another thing that game did that I noticed time because during the time of Rock Band being out, I was teaching, and so it was popular. So I'd end up talking to my students, and my students would start to talk to me about like music from like the 70s and 80s, and they're like, "Oh, I was playing Rock Band, and I played Stranglehold by Ted Nugent." I'm like, if you've never heard Stranglehold before, they're like, no, first time, and so like that was like a recurring thing where like people were discovering bands through Rock Band, and then that was the same way with like some of the bands that were in the game were just like the developers' friends' bands, and you would discover them through that.
I love me some freeze pop.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was kind of the TikTok of its time. That's how kids found out about a lot of old music. Learning out through Guitar Hero and Rock Band.
100%.
God, I would have bought a 360 just to have Rock Band. If there was no other game that interested me,
It's highly worth it.
I would have bought the whole damn console and that big ass box of peripherals.
The $124 box set or whatever
have
it
those
was.
shitty original drums in my basement. I never got the
hell
steel
yeah.
pedal. I never got the good steel pedal, but I never got good at the drums to break it anyway. But God, and the amount of guitar peripherals I went through.
Yes. Which
and
by
now
the way,
and you can't find them anywhere anymore.
They're like $300 a piece on Amazon right
Yeah,
now.
what the shit
Are
is
they
that?
really?
They've got to be at
Christ.
every Goodwill in America at this point.
It's fucking nuts.
But yeah, you
if
can't
you want to
find
buy a
them.
new one, like listener, go on Amazon and look up like Rock Band guitar, and it's incredible what these things are selling
If
for.
you've got one sitting in your basement that you don't want anymore, just message Tank.
Yeah.
And we'll set up a
Yeah,
purchase.
we'll hook it up.
God, I would just love nothing more than for that to come back.
A good Rock Band would be great.
Yeah, I would love it. I would because again, just to have this.
You also imagine sitting here in your basement. Right?
Yeah.
This basement, to the listeners, is literally like the gaming. This is perfect.
It is the
And,
ideal set.
dude, you've got plenty of space for everybody to set up and rock out.
we need to get fog machines.
We get fog
You
machines.
get fog machines.
I can
We
make a little
close
fog.
all
You got a
the
phone call on the fog
windows.
Make a little
machines. Get
fog
that
for you.
going.
I might still fit in the hot pants.
There you go.
That'd be
Right.
great.
Sweet.
Right.
My Steven Tyler scarves. I mean, and now we're
Steven
adults.
Tyler
And
scarves.
now we're adults, so we don't have to worry about bothering the downstairs neighbors.
Yeah.
Not at all. Exactly, dude.
Like, oh god, again, they could have just made Rock Band the console, and I would have bought that.
Yeah.
That was the peak of that era for me.
All right, guys, let's make a hard left turn here from Rock Band to Dead Space.
Let's get dark, everybody.
Dead Space was not an exclusive, correct?
I don't believe.
I don't
so.
I don't
believe
think
so.
it was
I
either.
believe it was
And
on
I think it was a
PlayStation
sign,
as well.
I think it was too.
But goddamn,
What a
game!
It was fantastic. And then 2 was even better, and
Yeah.
3 was wasn't it better?
3 was all right.
It was
3
fun.
had some fucking moments, though, man.
It was great. I played through
Was
it, but it
3?
wasn't.
3 was when the needle. I'll never forget
No, it
the
was
needle
the end
going
of,
into his
it
eye.
the
Was
end
at the end of 2.
Yeah.
I will say this: like one in particular, when that came out, that game scared the shit
It
out
was
of me.
fucking
while I was
terrifying.
playing
It was so good.
because there was no real like safe room.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you would clear a space, you'd think it was safe. I mean, there were like very tiny safe spaces, but you would always clear
The tram.
Right. You'd clear it, and then you come back later, and they're coming out of different holes. They're coming in different windows.
Yeah.
They're coming. That game scared the living shit out of me the first time I played
fantastic
it.
game.
It was killer.
So good.
And brutal, man. Brutal.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I think that was like the birth of like just cutting shit to pieces. You
Yeah.
know, limbs. Really.
They had the beginning, the first scene in the second one. Some guy breaks you out of you're in a hospital or something,
Mm-hmm.
and like 5 seconds into the game, they split him in half right in front
Yeah,
of you.
I forget.
It's like this close up. The thing splits him in half and pops his head out, and you're like, oh, they go hard.
It's like,
Those
all
games
right,
go
welcome
fucking-
back.
I know.
Welcome back.
You bought Dead Space, bitch. Here we go.
It's exactly what it was.
Get ready.
Yeah, it's very weird to like find a sci-fi thing that's like, well, we took inspiration from Alien
Yeah.
and in Event Horizon. It's like, did ya? Because every sci-fi film does.
Yeah.
and then it's
You don't
like,
say.
yeah, but then it's like, oh shit, no, you guys actually did something with this. And the whole idea of Isaac not being a soldier, because like, you're in this sci-fi game
Like a
you're,
contractor,
yeah,
essentially.
you're like you're like an
Engineer.
engineer
Yeah.
contractor,
Yeah.
and you're on like a space station, and everything goes foobar, and all the people on the ship get taken over by an alien species that mutates them and fucks them up, and you're just kind of a regular ass dude that has to try to figure out your way out this thing.
Yeah.
That's what they get for hiring non-union.
With
That's
with
like the Death Star.
And all you have are your tools.
The
Yeah.
other
Your
first
tools are
weapon
your
is
weapons.
a plasma cutter.
Yeah,
it's
a
like
cutter.
supposed to be like a
Yeah.
tool, and you can use that through the whole game.
So you can cut futuristic PVC pipe and shit.
But you end up delimbing a bunch
all
of
the
aliens.
monsters,
Yes.
yeah, cutting their heads
It
off.
really got
and-
that Event Horizon feel in like the first act of Event Horizon. They get on that ship; it's totally empty and eerie.
Yeah.
That's the way the first act of Dead Space feels. It's really empty. Most of it's really empty.
Yeah.
It's not super actiony. It gets way more. And the second,
Well,
and third
there's
ones are
moments, but right.
absolutely. But there's a lot of tension. It just
A
slowly
lot of
ratchets
tension.
that tension. You
It
know.
definitely, yeah. Dark corridors. You don't know what's going to jump out from where. Another thing interesting about the game is it's very minimal of like your on-screen HUD of like what your shit is, and your life bar is your spinal column.
Yeah, I think your ammo
Yeah,
is
I
on the
forgot-
weapon
yeah,
too.
Yeah.
dude.
There's no HUD, I think, right?
Yeah, so it's like very much like you're pseudo playing a movie because there's just not like stuff on, like there's not graphics on screen giving you updates. You can literally just look at the spinal column of your main character,
Yeah.
and it's like, oh, do I have full
Like
health or
little
do I,
energy
or
cells.
I'm just down to like my lumbar and now I got like 2 hits left.
Yeah.
That was a big part of that era, was kind of more minimalist presentation. And again, because the technology had advanced that much that you didn't always need it.
Yeah.
You could actually pay attention to what your back looked like, and it wasn't, blurry on your 19-inch CRT TV. But there was a lot of like the Pip-Boy, a huge part of that from Fallout.
Yeah.
So a lot of that simplifying presentation, the cleanliness of gaming really kind of evolved in that era.
Something they did with Dead Space that I didn't love. I love that series and I played through it. I dipped my toe into the remake. But something they did that I didn't like was that they started doing. There was this trend of protagonists that were silent.
Yeah.
And that was,
Yeah.
I think that was most best personified by Master Chief
Yeah.
at the beginning. He eventually got his own voice and personality and shit like that. But in the first Dead Space, the original, the remake, he talks, but the original, he didn't say anything.
Yeah.
And I always thought that was kind of like a cop-out. They did it so the player could feel like they were in
Immersion.
that role, but I didn't like it.
Yeah.
Depends on the game for me. Like,
Yeah?
Link not talking doesn't
This is
bother me.
exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah.
I never want Link to talk ever, and I don't want. And honestly, I
You
don't
might
mind
hear the jumping noise or the swipe.
yeah,
or the block,
and
but-
I don't mind reading text in a Zelda game.
Right.
But if I'm playing a Resident Evil, where
Dialogue's
there's
cool.
a team of people. I
Yeah,
mean, I remember
then-
that was a huge original PlayStation thing. Was,
The master of unlocking.
yes, but the fact that you could that evolved so much through that is. We're talking, we may have had like 20 pages of recorded dialogue.
Yeah.
And now these games are longer than movies.
Yeah.
Obviously, 10
Right.
times longer
Yeah,
than movies.
like on par with like not like a full-on Netflix series, but more than a movie script.
Yeah, and they just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and to the point we're at now where that it's probably going to collapse in on itself at some point pretty soon.
There's
But
some of those AAA titles, and I'm a big Assassin's Creed guy. They're so bloated now.
Yeah.
But that started in the 360, like the Assassin's Creeds in the 360 were starting that games as a service.
well,
thing.
and that was a thing from that era too. The 360 was the birth of the $60 game.
Yeah.
Going $59.99.
Yeah.
Now, of course, you go back to the cartridge days. I mean, back then you were paying $70 for an N64 game. That's a little bit different, but that was when it became the standard to go to $59.99. And I know this is, and now we're at $69.99 for a lot of games. I know the Dead Space remake is $70.
Yeah.
Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah,
is
we're pretty much
$70.
sitting at the 70
And
nowadays.
like on one hand, I'm like, yeah, it's about what I was paying for Super Nintendo game. Well, I wasn't paying; my mom was. But with how much they have to cram into these games, but it's kind of like a snake eating its own tail now, where it's like, well, we need to make this game bigger and bigger to justify a $70 purchase, but we have a $70 purchase, so we need to justify it by making this game bigger and bigger.
Right.
So it just kind of it's
a crux.
It's catch-22.
Right.
That people expect more and more from their games. That's going to cost more and more money. So the games are going to get more expensive. But how much further can you push that?
yeah.
Well, they're getting massive these days too. Not that that's a bad thing necessarily, but some of them are.
It depends on the
abrasive.
game.
Right?
It really and there was so much of that in this era. First Assassin's Creed, I thought
dude.
way too much fetch, go and get the flags or whatever.
Yeah, I
but they
get that.
nailed it in 2 and 3
Dude, what about Black Flag?
and Black Flag.
Black
I
Flag
like Black
is
Flag a lot.
one of my absolute favorite games of all time. Black Flag is the
Black
bomb.
Flag is a good example of a game being huge but not feeling bloated because
Right.
you did all the little. There's so many little gameplay loops. Like there's the Citadel or whatever you call it, the where you have to defeat the fort in your ship.
Yeah,
And Black
yeah,
Flag.
the
So-
sieges,
yeah,
and then
so
the
if you go
legendary
to-
ships.
Absolutely, that
Right.
shit's awesome. Those bloats are great because they're little gameplay loops that are a ton
Just
of fun. But if
change
you play-
changed up the game, change up what you're used to, right?
But if you play Odyssey, which is a similar world and similarly sized,
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
all the extra shit in that is just extra
There is
bullshit.
Oh,
There's
and
so much dog
and I've
shit.
done
in there.
like all of it. I've done all the DLC, and I agree with you.
Have
There's
you?
so much.
I mean, it's
BS.
Yeah, it gets they started to get that way in the 360.
Yeah, I think that was. I mean,
know.
and of course you
I
had
think
your
Odyssey
super.
also came out on 360, I believe.
Odyssey's,
Odyssey did.
Odyssey was the
Origins
came
Egypt
out.
came out on the 360. It was on next gen as
Wait.
well, but it was on 360.
So right now I got, because you guys are actually great on this, because the Assassin's Creed series is next thing on the list. I got 2, 3, Rogue, Brotherhood, and Revelations.
2
2 is the peak for me.
is incredible.
So recently I completed
Ezio.
a 3-year long playthrough from Assassin's
Just
Creed 1
everything?
to Valhalla.
I get
Holy
it.
shit.
And
I get it.
right now I'm finishing like the last little bits of Valhalla. I've got like 200 hours into Valhalla. So like this is
Oh,
like
you
a-
could put yeah.
this was like a 2 or 3 year project that I started right
bet.
before COVID.
yeah. You have to finish it.
Oh, it was pretty crazy. I think I met you.
Yeah,
when I first met you.
and we were talking about this because
Yeah.
I've never played any of the Assassin's Creed games,
Yeah.
and then you just I've never touched it, and Sam was like, oh my god, this fucking, and just like
I can
woof,
talk forever
and
about
just
it,
and just hit me with it, and I was like, oh shit, man, like this is some stuff, and he told me about this this current quest that he was on to like just complete everything.
I did it. Yeah,
I respect that.
Well, I started with.
I would
I didn't
take that
100%
quest.
everything, but I did. I think I did complete all the DLC.
Yeah, but
all
at
of
least
them.
beat the hell out
But
of them.
and I beat all the
DLC.
main games and everything.
Right.
But like, yeah, that when 1 came out, I saw it and it was like a tech demo. You know, it was
Yes.
the gameplay
Yeah, I
loop was
remember that.
fucking dog
Yes.
shit. The assassinations, you had to go do research until you got to the cool part, which was killing people.
Right.
It was just, it wasn't, but it was neat because you were in these cities and you were like, oh, they might have a little something here.
Yeah.
It was like an awesome tech demo. And then 2 was fucking awesome. Ezio was an incredible protagonist. He was greatly acted, really well written. And then they
Possibly the greatest assassin.
by far the most charismatic, most
I'd
likable.
agree, yeah.
But like, yeah, they did. What did they do? 2 Brotherhood Revelations, 3.
Then they jump
4
into
in
3,
Rogue.
and I think there was some other stuff that floated around after 3. I forget the names of them, and then they jumped into Black Flag.
Black Flag had the DLC that was
I think was that
Freedom's
Rogue?
Cry,
Freedom's Cry.
which was incredible.
Yeah, it was killer.
You were literally a Jamaican ex-slave sailing around the Caribbean, freeing slaves from plantations. So awesome.
That is,
heavy
I
shit.
fell off. I think in 3 is kind of where I fell off on Assassin's Creed, but I'm one of those series that I think you can go back to and you'll have a good time. So if you've never played them, I highly recommend.
They remastered the Ezio trilogy about
did.
4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And playing two and Brotherhood they're pretty fucking good.
I did Black Flag again within like the last year and a half.
Still looks so good.
And it's still good, dude.
Looks
it is
so
still a blast. It still felt pretty good. I mean, it's aged now, so there's a little bit. Take it with like a little bit of discrepancy on mechanics, a little bit, but it plays well.
And I did this with like the Far Cry series, where like I hadn't played any of them, and then I went back through and started playing
Yes,
stuff, and I was
dude.
like, oh shit, this is great, and I want to play all these. So yeah, I could totally see doing this with AC because of running into people like you guys, where it's just like, dude, why have you not fucking played this game yet? It's
I spent
amazing.
Too much time playing those fucking
Assassin's Creed was a big,
Too much
big,
time,
big,
bro.
big one.
I beat. I don't even want to talk about all my AC bullshit.
I-
I'd be sitting here for hours.
I think my version of that on the 360 was Dragon Age.
Dragon Age,
Mass
very
Effect.
understandable.
Dragon Age and Mass Effect, those were games for me that I put so much time into and played through over and over.
Did you
and
like
over.
Dragon Age 2?
Here's my hottest take of the whole night. I love
Did you
Dragon
really?
Age 2. I know it's not finished. I know they totally half-assed it and cut corners because they were on a deadline.
It felt weak.
But
At least to start.
I like the story.
I never beat it.
And I liked the gameplay evolution. And I know the PC players were like, "You son of a bitch, shut your mouth." And I get it, but I think I played through 2 at least 5 times.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
I played Origins 2 or 3 times, and Origins is a superlative game. It looks rough these days, but I don't give a shit.
Origins is phenomenal.
Fantastic. I played Inquisition twice. Very much enjoyed Inquisition, although it got a little bloaty. It turned into one of those big open world games as a service.
It definitely was.
Yeah,
it was definitely very open.
that was the problem with those games starting to bloat in the 360 is that what you got is instead of something super tight, like AC2 was pretty tight, you got like Dragon Age Inquisition, which 50% of the quests and content is fetching shit. It's total shovelware content.
It's like
you know what
World
I mean?
of Warcraft or something all of a sudden. Playing WoW. It's literally like go fetch 6 Lizzo horns or some shit or whatever,
I think she plays
horns.
the flute, actually.
Oh, my bad. Flutes.
Well, I thought Dragon Age was, and I think it's still really good.
Yeah, I love that.
I started up to, but never really
the
followed
Origins
through with it.
is
2 is a great example of like if a lot of people hate it, I might just like it. But yeah, I like 2. I know it's flawed, but I love the story on that one.
Well, we're here right now because you mentioned the Mass Effect trilogy, one of the most like beloved trilogies of all time. I tried to play Mass Effect 1, I just couldn't get into it. But then there's people like you that lived in it. What was it for you that drug you into Mass Effect?
I remember because that was an early one on the 360, and that was
2007 or 8.
I think it was. I think it was 07, and that
Mind
was
bender of a game.
So good.
The thing about that, I think it was really kind of my first time really getting into a Western RPG. I was very much, I was a Final Fantasy kid growing up. Like
me too.
6, 7, 8, 9.
Dude.
9. Oh,
9 is
9. I love
Vivi.
you.
9 is the
Dude.
Final Fantasy like nuts. Like connoisseur Final Fantasy, like
100%.
if somebody says 9 is like one of their favorites, you're like, oh, you're a real Final Fantasy fucking nerd.
So like, I always had a little bit of a hard time. Like I had Oblivion, my brother had Morrowind, and I had a hard time getting into those.
Playing my friends did.
They're games I like now. Like when Skyrim kind of was really another big tipping point for me. But the first time firing up Mass Effect, I was the customization, creating this character. And I create this character that has a personality still.
Yeah.
Like it I don't know, and I'm sure
like,
somebody will tell me.
That or the? Are you war hero? Are you
ex-soldier?
What are you? Like, you build this backstory for your character
And coming
and
from
develop relationships.
you could like name
Truly.
your character
You
back
could
in
also
the day.
bone people.
Yeah, well, of
You
course.
could also bone people.
Yeah.
The Mass Effect
In space, exactly. Mass Effect in space.
Yes, but
Pretty awesome.
The thing about it, being able to create this character that still had great voice acting behind it,
Yeah.
and building those relationships and getting to make those choices, even if
Commander Shepard.
even if they're not really
You still end up in
consequential,
kind of the same spot.
Yeah, even
but
if they're kind of on rails, and same thing with the Telltale games. You'll still get where they want you to go,
Right.
But it gave me that level of ownership over it, and I to this day, Fem Shep all the way. I have never played through all the way as a male Commander Shepard. I think is her name Jennifer Hale, maybe? Whoever that voice actor is.
That's who it is, Jennifer Hale. Yeah, I think that's the name.
Perfection.
I've played it 3 times and only played male Shep. Never played
Yeah, I've
Fem
only
Shep.
Gotta
played-
play
I've only
Fem
played
Shep.
Male Shep.
It's an entirely different game.
Really?
Entirely different game. And that first one is a little rough. And that was the one that was exclusive at first.
Which they just did the remaster.
Yeah, now
It's
and I haven't
fucking awesome.
I haven't played it yet. It's one of those
So
and
good.
I'll tell you why I haven't
started
played it
it.
yet. Is I was
So
like,
beautiful.
all right, I love this. This is one of my favorite games of all time. $60 for all of them together. Hell yeah, I'm gonna plop down the $60. Which
I did the same
I
thing.
don't usually do these days. I usually
Right.
wait for the sale, and then that motherfucker ended up on Game Pass a week later. And I was, you son of a bitch!
Yeah.
That's
You
right. 'cause
son of a bitch!
It ended up on EA's side of the thing, didn't it?
Yes. But that
I did
first
the
one,
same thing.
the first one is a little rough, and I could totally understand playing through it on the 360 and being like, "This is clunky as shit." It took me a
It
long
was
time
back then.
I
Honestly,
did,
if you think about
The
it,
first
it
one
was.
wasn't. The first one is shooter, and it was kind of.
and I think I kind
They
of
adopted some of the Gears cover mechanics a little bit.
That
it didn't
was-
work really well.
but it didn't work.
Yeah, it was really
And you
not
were
until
used to
2 that they
Gears.
really honed that in.
Right.
So it took me a few reboots to figure out what I could play as that would feel right. So that would be my recommendation to anybody that wants to go back and play the original, but I think the remasters kind of perfected it.
Yeah.
But such a great story. It's so original and so dense. And this was still right in that cusp where I could sit down and read 8 pages of
Yes.
codex entries
yeah,
and
Yes.
stuff.
Codex
These
entries.
days I'm like, I'm fucking
Just,
tired
oh,
to
me
read
too.
all
The
this.
world building
Skip,
is so
skip, skip,
robust.
skip.
But yeah, that world building they have, and then the Keith David voicing in there
Colonel.
too.
Say no more, Keith David.
Yeah, Keith David's voice in there. It just what a cool story, unique sci-fi, but not just ripping off Alien and Event Horizon.
Yeah.
Which is such an easy thing to do, but not ripping off Star Wars, not ripping off Star Trek. Probably Star Trek's probably the closest
I
thing
feel
that
like
rips
it
off.
leans
I
towards
thought-
Star Trek
yeah.
for sure. But
I thought it leaned towards Star Wars.
Really?
I did because I felt like when I know that the BioWare had made KOTOR 1 and 2.
yeah.
Yeah.
Which I had played both, and they were
course.
awesome. And then when Mass Effect came out, I was like, "Oh, this is just fucking Star Wars with the new skin." They got the biotics, which is like the Force.
Yeah.
And they got their little laser rifles, which
Good
is like,
point. Good.
that-
point.
I think
I've
felt
not
like
actually thought of it like
the
that.
action is Star Wars, the story is Star Trek. It is a blend
would
of
buy
Star
that.
Wars
I
and
would-
Star Trek.
I would
and
probably
that's,
buy that, yeah.
That's why I love Mass Effect.
That's
there
a
it
great
is.
series.
But everybody also hated the end of the third game.
Well, yeah, so much that they had to go out and do a DLC ending, didn't they?
Right.
So they
But I
did-
didn't necessarily hate it when it happened.
I think it
because they left. I mean, but they left it open for more. They left it open post credits. Also, maybe the very early post credit concept in a game where somebody's getting out of the ship and it's a human in some distant fucking galaxy, and they left it open. Granted, Andromeda was fun, and I played it. I beat the shit out of it. I wouldn't call it the best of all the games.
It's the worst of the four.
I would call it the worst of the four.
but it's still better than this
Shooting
goes
is
back.
better than a
this
lot of
goes back
games.
to very divisive. That's for me.
I get it.
I didn't love it. I wasn't like head over heels for Andromeda.
You
but
beat the shit out of it,
But
didn't
I
you?
probably put 60
Yeah.
hours into it.
Yeah, exactly.
I just put 15 hours into it a couple months ago. It's gorgeous. The worlds are gorgeous.
It is
the shooting is
beautiful to
good.
look at.
The game is terribly written, terribly acted, terribly animated.
That's the
and
best.
that's
I
you
don't
just
think I wouldn't disagree with any of that.
That's what I think.
And as for 3 and the end, I think probably everybody would agree 2 is the
It was
pinnacle.
silly. The kid
2 was-
and the shit. Yes, it
2's
was
the
silly.
pinnacle, and then I mean, especially there where like you could have lasting consequences at the end.
Yeah.
love that. 3 maybe didn't stick
3 was
landing
great
so much,
all
but
the way
it's still
to
a
the
great
end.
game.
It's
Yeah.
so good. The DLCs for 3, I just played through the Legendary Edition, which was my third playthrough at the end of last year.
I don't think I ever got through the
I need to
DLC
do
on
this.
3 either.
So there's a DLC called Citadel, and everybody and their mother have all written about Citadel. What happens is you go back to the Citadel, and it takes place after all the main games, and everybody's there, every character you've interacted with. So like 40 dudes. And the game is this kind of like whodunit.
A murder mystery of
It's
sorts?
like it's really kind of silly,
Clue?
but it's like it's like 3 or 5 hours long. It's kind of dumb, but the game ends with like a 2 or 3 hour party scene at Commander Shepard's apartment, and you're in this party and you're just talking to the different characters. It was enthralling. I mean, you're having
Really?
these conversations that you can't believe with characters from the first, second, and third game. They're interacting, they're flirting, they're getting drunk. It's a party. It's some wild shit. And if you're a big Mass Effect fan, Citadel's like. It's the perfect send off.
All right,
of that.
So
that's-
they made
gonna
Mass
be
Effect
next on
High
my
School
list.
Reunion.
Essentially,
That's what
yeah.
it feels like. Like it's so hard to explain, and I thought it was kind of weird. And then I had been at this party for like an hour talking to everybody in the party, and I'm like, I'm having the time of my fucking life. We're all catching up. They're telling their backstories. It's dope. Citadel DLC 's
The
sweet.
Reapers. Let me tell you about the Reapers and this, that, and the other. This is what we got into.
Few
I'm actually
games,
have to sit and do those.
Few games
It's
that
really
build a
good.
world like that and get you to care about the characters.
Amen. The world building was.
You know, it's one thing like, Link, I love me some Link. I love Mario. They're the mascots. They're the
Absolutely.
But building a world with characters that you actually care if they live or die in your game, like, I got to do it right because I can't lose Liara.
All
or
it takes
whatever.
is
Yeah.
one
Yeah.
tiny decision.
Yeah.
And you can fuck it all up,
Mass Effect was a fantastic thing.
It was.
And it was the first and the second games were out for the 360, like more than a year before they made it to PlayStation.
Yeah.
And then the third one was a
Did they make
simultaneous.
it to PlayStation? Mass
They did.
Effect?
They did.
It took a year.
I guess it
or
is
more
because
for a couple of them.
I've played them on PlayStation. So
Yeah.
yes, they have. Wow. Look at me.
What a series that game was.
Rock Band was the most time I spent and the most fun I had on the 360.
Of course.
But Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3, those are my favorite games.
Yeah.
For sure.
Well, speaking of specialty games here, Luke, I didn't want to leave you out. I remember when you came on the Xbox episode, the OG Xbox, you were a big Fable fan. Fable 2 coming out for the 360.
Dude. Fable 1, 2, and 3 came out on all three.
did.
All of them. All of them. I loved all of them. 3, much like Mass Effect, I could dig on all day. 2, incredible. They really broaden the spectrum on your interactions and family building, all this wild stuff you could do. Man, Fable, that's a deep cut right there.
Fable 2 was a big deal
hit
for
me
me.
Fable
with that
2 was
one.
fucking
Because
awesome.
I never played the original because I didn't have an OG Xbox. I know
Yeah.
they remastered it, and that was one of those games that's on. It's in the binder that I need to get to at some point in my life.
It was killer, but dude, Fable 2
But
was
Fable 2,
leaps and bounds beyond the first
I
Fable.
dare say the Xbox 360. It's the best console for number 2 entries in a series.
Yeah.
Like it was
Dead Space 2, Mass
so
Effect 2,
many
Gears of War
games
2.
where it was like part 2 fucking kicked ass. Assassin's Creed, great example of it.
Well,
But
I mean, the Fable games having the ability to be either neutral, good, bad, or good or evil, and those have dramatic effects on how everything interacts with you. I think
That's
Fable
true. You change
was
your-
a very deep and you change. Yeah, your aesthetic changes based on. But this was like also the beginning of things like we see in Mass Effect, where these little choices you continuously make build that honor system. It was like the beginning of that.
And what I love about Fable as opposed to Mass Effect is like you make choices that affect the narrative, whereas
Yeah.
in Fable you would make choices that affect you.
Yeah.
and you're
And how
not even
people
really
interact with you.
You're not even really realizing what you're doing to your like. I think my character wound up being this giant Amazon woman, just because of the way I played, and she was just hacking and slashing her way through everything. But you could go back and play that game, and you're a tiny little wizard. I love the
Yeah.
way all that stuff. Fable was a lot of fun.
You remember it was all built around heroes.
Yes.
You were in the Heroes Guild.
Yeah,
All
Fable-
this
Fable
classic
2
fantasy.
Fable 2 was fucking great.
Fable 2
Yeah.
was incredible.
3, I really don't remember much of 3.
3 was very short.
It had a jump forward in the middle of it, I think.
Yeah, there's some sort of leap, but I remember there was pistols and shit and like flintlocks, and it felt very short. And it just
Didn't
felt
have the
like the
magic.
world didn't feel as wide open as it felt a little more linear.
And we've been working on Fable 4 for what, like 8 years now? Is that
Fucking
ever
20
Is
damn
that ever
near,
coming
feels
out?
like.
And I know Fable always kind of had the problem of over-promising.
Yeah.
What was his name?
Molyneux?
Molyneux.
Yeah.
He said when the first one came out, he's like, yeah, if you plant a tree here, 2 months later in game time, it'll grow into a big tree. And you're
Yeah.
like, he said all this bullshit.
A lot.
I forgot about that.
Remember that?
That was
I
the
remember
first
yeah,
one in
absolutely.
particular. Because I remember
On
the first one wasn't...
TV.
Yes. He
On
was,
cable.
he was saying all kinds of
On
stuff like that.
MTV.
And
Yeah,
so much of
literally,
it did
yeah.
not come true. But it did have more than, I mean, I felt more than Mass Effect. In Mass Effect, you would make Paragon or Renegade choices, so good or bad choices. And there was like, it was railroaded in the same spot. With Fable, if you did enough vile shit, you like grew horns. And
Yeah,
you would like,
Satan's eyes.
yeah,
You had horns.
you would walk around town and the kids would be like, ah, and they'd run away from
Teeth.
you. It felt more alive.
Where
You know what
also,
I mean?
if you were like ultra good, you had like the blue kind of flaming blue eyes.
That's
a
right.
Halo.
And people loved you,
grew
and then-
angel wings
Yeah.
because
Forgot
both
about
would
the
grow
Halo.
wings, but
that's
you
right.
either grew angel or demon's wings. Right.
And people
You could have
reacted
sex
to you
with everybody.
Yeah,
you could have
everybody.
sex.
Everybody would have-
That
everybody
was,
would have
that
sex
was also
with-
the beginning. Like you could have sex with anybody. You know.
Fables were really,
Truly the
Fable 2
role-playing
Fable was
game
a
always
blast.
for me.
Fable
Yeah.
2 was really good.
Fable was a blast.
Well, so since you guys got to talk about games you really love, I want to throw one in there for me, the BioShock trilogy.
Fuck
Yeah,
yes.
BioShock has one of my most memorable video game moments ever. I will never forget. I was living in my apartment in Northside with my buddy Thor. I was sitting on the couch on a Saturday morning. I was having coffee, eating breakfast, sat down, plopped in BioShock 1. I had a pretty rudimentary 5.1 system at the time. And I just remember seeing Rapture for the first time, just being blown away by it. And then I remember walking into a room and all of a sudden I heard a big whoa. And my floor shook from my subwoofer. And I was like, the fuck is that? And then it happened again. And then I turned and looked and I saw my first Big Daddy. And I was like, holy shit, what the fuck? And then just from there, that whole game was just incredible with the ability to the different guns that you could get and then the plasmids and the ability to set up traps for your enemies and the story. What a fucking story, guys.
So well written.
I mean, and then again, a choice. Do you kill the little sisters and harvest them? Do you free them? What do you do with them?
I don't think that there's ever been a game that built up an enemy like that. That first time having to first time maybe running the fuck away.
Yeah.
But the first time you actually have to fight that carries so much weight behind it.
Yeah.
And it's not just it's the natural evolution of Bowser shooting fire at you at the beginning of the castle.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah.
building to this thing, and you get to this giant dragon, and in this game you get to this whatever the fuck those things really are. God, that world building in that game, incredible. Not a big fan of 2.
Myself
Yeah.
neither.
2 was not
No.
my favorite.
Three was-
Infinite came out on 360, right?
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah,
Infinite.
I love
was-
Infinite.
I thought Infinite was better than the first.
And one of the things I love about the BioShock series is the idea of a rewriting of American history where they
Yeah.
keep elements of it, but they change it. So you get the music and you get this 1950s thing, but it's not the world we live in. We don't have underground
There's almost like
water
a
cities.
culty Wolfenstein-y thing.
Yeah.
going on.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah, very much like early Wolfenstein
Alternate
Right.
history.
Yeah,
Right.
and then especially in Infinite, where it's hey, let's talk about racism, and it's
Yeah,
this
the
doesn't
Infinite
happen
thing
in
was-
games.
dude, do you remember starting that up and you go up the lighthouse and then you're in these sky islands and the shit that is going on for a video game for me? The first time I played that, I was like, what the
Video game
hell?
about classism.
Yeah.
This is getting fucking.
Yep.
This is gnarly. This is getting dark as shit immediately because it looks gorgeous, bright, not what you'd expect from a BioShock game. Obviously, you did going into Infinite, but you're like, okay, this is BioShock. Let's feel it out, and you're like, very quick. You're like, it might look beautiful and all that, but they really figured out a way to just with blatant racism and terrible shit. They really figured out a way to
Going back to my earlier
cut
point,
right into darkness again. It got real ugly real fast.
big swings.
Yeah,
Yeah.
big
swings.
swings,
Huge swings.
big swings.
Taking big
Something-
swings, doing something really, really different.
Agreed.
Agreed. I think something I liked about Infinite that I'm always really obsessed with movement in games.
Yes.
I think
Yeah.
it's one of the most important things. Assassin's Creed is a great example. The movement is the game. You know what I mean? It's such a big part of the loop. Hades, the movement is so tight. It's so crisp. It's so Infinite had the that little.
The hook system?
The hook
Yeah.
system. And it shouldn't work. It shouldn't feel good. It just really
did.
shouldn't. It felt great. It felt natural.
Easy to use.
Whenever I think of that, I always think of one, Grinding Rails and Tony Hawk.
Fuck
My
yeah.
God.
Because it nails it
Yeah,
and it
nails
feels
it.
so good. And then two, Sunset Overdrive, which
Oh,
I think was
see.
also on the 360. I forgot
was.
to break down.
No, it's Xbox One.
What was it? Oh, fuck.
Was it one of the first Xbox One games?
It was when they stripped the system down and said, okay, you don't need Kinect for it. I think it was like they launched the white Xbox One.
Yep.
That was packaged with Sunset Overdrive. That's when I got it. And I played the shit out of
Absolute
that
same
game.
thing.
Talk-
A movement system that just can't be beat.
Talk about a game that needs a sequel that never got one. Holy
It's
shit.
just an incredibly underrated game that was just, it got fucked by the Xbox One launch.
Yeah.
But a great game.
But a very similar feeling of that system that you get in Infinite, where like you lock on to those things, and now you're flying through the air and shit. And you're shooting at people, and
It felt good.
there's
and it
like
worked.
and then there's like a mech George Washington with a minigun that's shooting at you.
Yeah.
So those were a big flat spot because the original game had the big daddies, and then Infinite had these mecha patriot things, and it wasn't nearly as cool to me. I thought it was kind of hokey, but I did like Infinite a little more.
The giant bird, though. The giant bird in Infinite. The mechanical
yeah.
bird
Yeah.
beast.
Yeah.
You know,
That was
there was a
wild.
couple really cool moments with that.
Are we
Set piece
getting
and
a
a
new
clock, I
Bioshock
think?
at some point?
I don't understand why we don't have a new Bioshock.
We went a whole gen with no new Bioshock.
Well, they just did like remakes or remasters,
Yeah.
like
Did they?
within the last year or two.
Yeah, they did remakes.
But even I don't think they. I tried playing. I just didn't feel like it really held up or met any of my expectations for a remake.
Yeah, I'm kind of worried about like it's one of those things where I'm like leave the memories alone. Like I'm
Yeah.
kind of worried about going back into it and not
Yeah.
having what it was. Because again, my ability to retell this story anytime, it's one of the few really standout moments for me in gaming where it really matters.
See that big daddy and shit your pants.
Yeah, and just be like, ooh.
Yeah.
All right, Lost Odyssey. Who threw this on here?
That was me.
That was you. All right, what's up with Lost Odyssey?
So Lost Odyssey was the studio was called Mistwalker.
I think that's right. Yeah.
Mistwalker, and they were an imprint they were under the Microsoft. Microsoft owned this studio. So what they did is basically hire every dev from Final Fantasy, and they made a Final Fantasy game. They just called it something else. And, I mean, it's a turn-based Japanese RPG.
Oh yeah.
With classic random battles, inventory. I think there's even summons.
Yeah. Can't go
Nobuo.
wrong.
I mean, Nobuo Uematsu. I think that's how you say his name. The guy that has scored all of the Final Fantasy games. Scored
killer
that game.
music.
The
Nice.
music it fucking crushes.
Can you find one of those like lo-fi playlists on Spotify with the Lost Odyssey?
Oh, yeah, I'm
soundtrack?
sure, yeah.
Lo-fi, and that's your office work, dude.
Well, that game was so I played it and beat it, a million years ago, but about a year or two, I popped it back in.
Yeah.
And it had the problem that JRPGs do now, which random battles and turn-based thing
Yeah.
is just antiquated
It
for
can
me.
it can get annoying.
I think it can.
Yeah.
And so I didn't get back into it deep, but I think if you like those things, which I don't, great Japanese RPG, fantastic JRPG, maybe one of the last really good ones that wasn't like a Final Fantasy, because Final Fantasy 15 was glorious. But it was
Thank you,
it was
dude.
very odd. They're turning into
different.
action games
Yeah.
instead of these turn-based random battle things. That was more of an action game.
It was killer.
It was great.
The end of the story, I actually shed a
Did you?
tear. Yeah,
I played
shed
it in
a
the
little
first
tear.
year.
Yeah.
So from what I understand, they've patched it a million times since then, and it's a much different game. But like
I played it a few times.
Lost Odyssey's great. Yeah.
Yeah.
For the 360 it was great. The graphics are great. Yeah, beautiful game.
Nice. Yeah, I've never been a huge Japanese RPG guy, but when I run into people that do like it, I'm always like, I get it. Like, but they were just so long.
That's the thing; they're deep.
They're
You
great.
know, there's a lot there.
You're spending time.
Even back in the day, there was just a lot there.
Well, and so much grinding back in the day.
Yes,
Yeah.
there was.
My first JRPG was
the
Dragon
birth of
Warrior
grind
on the
on the
NES.
NES. I remember-
And
I remember-
we beat that
same.
bitch, and it probably took me as a child like 60 some hours.
The blue
Yeah.
slime.
So yeah, I mean, like nowadays, I don't have time for random battles or
Yeah.
turn based. I just don't, and that's why Final Fantasy 15 is a natural evolution of turning
Right,
into more
absolutely.
actiony games. But Lost Odyssey was really like a game from the past.
Yeah,
Did you guys play Minecraft on the 360?
It's one of
I
those
messed
games.
with it for a second.
I've never got into it.
It's one of those things that if I was 10 years younger, I'm
Yeah.
sure I
Yeah.
would be obsessed.
I think that's where I'm at too.
But I think it's honestly, kind of like Pokemon. It's one of those things that just missed me.
Yeah, it missed me too.
Just missed me, and I never got into it. My nephew has logged a ton of hours into Minecraft on the Switch, on the 360, on the PlayStation. He loves him some Minecraft. But yeah, for me, one of those things that just missed me.
Yeah, like
Me too.
I can recognize that in pop culture. Like I know the creepers.
Yep.
I know the dude, in the blue shirt. Like I know what the graphics setup of the game looks like. I just don't know fuck all about it.
Yeah, I think it's too open for me now at the age I'm at, where I'm like, I need somebody to curate this experience for me.
Exactly. There's no narrative. There's
Hold
no
my hand for a moment. Show me the way.
Yeah, like it's like, well, you could just do Minecraft, and I'm
Right.
like, I don't have time to
do you
just
mean
do
just
Minecraft.
do Minecraft?
I need,
Right.
and I get the appeal of it.
Right.
I mean, it's video game Lego, basically. Right?
I have been
Like,
fascinated watching people build rehab Minas Tirith from Lord of the Rings.
Yeah,
or
and I have, like,
some wild thing.
I have
it's-
friends that have built amusement parks
Right,
in
right.
Minecraft, so it's not an age thing. Like by no means am I like
Right.
40-year-olds. What are you doing playing Minecraft?
Do you have the time?
But it's one of those things where it just missed me, and I think I just don't get it.
Yeah.
But I bet if I was a kid today, I'd have a blast with it.
Yeah.
Borderlands.
fuck
Yep.
yes. Hell yes to Borderlands.
Yep.
Why do more games not do this? Like, why not just have a distinctive graphic style? That's one of the things that draws me into Borderlands. Is Borderlands looks like Borderlands, and Borderlands doesn't look like other things, or the things that do look like
Cel-shaded.
Borderlands.
Cell shaded
have
really well done.
Yeah, have taken from that game.
I don't understand why we don't do more cell shading in games.
Yes,
like
100%.
Like Cuphead is a great example of
Dude,
like.
also so hard,
Oh,
dude.
yeah.
Yeah, so hard.
So hard.
No, I can't play it because it'll make me put my fist
Same,
to the
dude.
wall.
I get pissed.
But
Controllers are
like
expensive.
we can make games look like this now. Why don't we do that more?
I don't get it. Everybody has this boner to make like the most realistic thing possible. It's like, but the things that stand out are like Jet Set Radio or Beautiful Joe, like and Borderlands, like these games that the visual appearance of them are so different from everybody else on the system. That's what makes them unique.
Yeah, I mean, and another great example of that was the South Park game on the 360.
Oh
It
my
looked
God.
exactly
Stick of
like
Truth?
the
Yeah, Stick
show.
of Truth was
looked
great.
exactly like the
Fantastic.
show. So to get to
And
experience
it mapped out
that-
the world for the first time.
Yeah.
Where, like, you
Yeah,
knew like where
connected.
shit were,
Yeah.
like where in South Park, like what, like where did Kenny live versus where the Chinese restaurants at. Like, and
Absolutely.
it
been
would
doing so much of this in video gaming that I feel that is a huge untapped well
Yeah, same.
of where the industry can go. And I get the appeal of like we got to make the prettiest Horizon Zero Dawn.
Oh, we need
gotta-
a movie.
Yeah, we
Right,
gotta like,
right,
but
right.
there you can make cartoons into video. Dragon's Lair could play like what we imagined it would
Yeah.
when we were putting $1.50 in it to play for 3 seconds.
Yes.
In the arcade, like you could make that game now as a game, and I really hope that we see more studios start to do that.
I feel like the first Borderlands was I dipped into it a couple years back, just the first hour or two, and the first one felt really empty to me. A lot of it was that
Agreed.
like sand. You had
Yeah.
a car that didn't really work that well.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
It
buggy.
was all sandy. Yeah, the buggy, and it didn't have the same kind of attitude that it turned into. It had a little
Yeah.
bit of it, but then they got that guy to write 2 and 3, and they leaned into that like super weird humor. And Borderlands games feel like a Borderland game.
Yeah.
like that Tiny Tina one that came
There's
out.
a lot of wild shit going on.
And I
now,
feel like
wacky
you know,
shit.
yeah.
I played through the entire first one, but I played it solo, and
Yeah.
I don't think I really got to experience it.
Something
fully.
about playing with someone.
and then it's one that you can just kind of drop in on anybody's game, right?
Yeah.
Just kind of do.
Yep.
Yeah. That would be one that I would probably be into, but as playing online. But I just remember it felt empty.
The second and third didn't feel that way. They got more colorful.
Yeah.
The art style got super colorful. The voice acting was much better. The writing was a little
writing was
crisper. And
better.
it was funnier. And they really leaned into these gags, like weapons that were jokes,
Yeah.
jokes that were grenades, all
Yeah.
kinds of weird shit.
Yeah,
The first
absolutely.
one had a little bit of that feel, but I think they really found their like tone with the second and on. I
Yeah.
played a little bit of the newest one, the Tiny Tina Wonderland.
I never played. I know, isn't it? It's got a loose D&D vibe thing about it, though.
Ashley
too.
Birch is the main voice actress, and I have a very deep crush on Ashley Birch.
Yeah, what was the online? It was like Hey Ash or whatever. Or,
Hey Ash, what you playing?
Yeah, and it was her, and then her brother is the guy who writes Borderlands.
Yep.
And
Anthony.
they had like
Got
a
it.
whole online series.
It was like these 3-minute joke YouTube videos, like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
fucking hilarious. Kind of.
yeah, definitely worth looking up.
Yeah.
I'll look them up. That sounds like my homework project for tonight.
I got stuff. My YouTube wormhole tonight's gonna be really
Yeah, I
interesting.
got
mine
all
too.
the shit.
Mine
Tank's
too.
got to play Mass Effect. We know that
Yeah.
in Limbo.
Did you play Mass Effect?
I played like maybe for like 2 hours. And I was like, I don't get it, and then
I would get the Legendary Edition and try it, see if you can play one.
Well, and I also got to play some Assassin's Creed after talking to you.
Yeah, he does need to put dude.
I don't know where to start with that.
Well,
Got to.
did anybody fuck with Dishonored?
Yeah, I
I
fucked
did-
with the first one.
Yeah.
About 10 hours maybe.
Not my favorite style of game. I hate games where I have to sneak around, but it was again. But at the same
It
time,
was unique.
I do love an alternate world that's kind of based off of our world.
Yeah.
So the whole idea of like this island that's run with like whale blubber and shit to do stuff. It's
Yeah.
the same reason like I love Deathloop. Where like Deathloop
Yeah.
has like this very 60s vibe, but it's not the 60s.
Also, both Bethesda games.
Oh, hey, good catch.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is
one-
Dishonored Bethesda?
Yeah.
It's one that like I should 100% be into, but I've just never gotten into it. I tried playing the first one, tried diving in. I'm like, nope, this is not for me right now.
It could be a little tough.
But I think I think if I give it a go, I'll get through it.
Yeah.
I did this with Outer Worlds where
Yeah.
I played like I put
Yeah,
like
me
10
too.
hours
I
into
played-
it. And
I
was
played
just
Only a
like,
20-hour game, I think.
yeah, I think I got like halfway through it and I was just like, this isn't doing it for me. And then I came
Same.
back and started fresh and had a blast with it.
Nailed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I played it for 4 or 5 hours and found that there was a specific power called Blink, I think, which was like an instant teleport.
Yeah.
That they really
Yeah.
nailed the feel of it, gameplay wise, and a great art style too.
Yeah.
But,
Well,
again,
also
one
still
that I
kind
kinda-
of had that. It went back to that Fallout New Vegas, but it was like almost like some happy medium between, say, a Fallout New Vegas and a Borderlands. They almost went to that almost cartoon comic, like maybe not cell shading
Yeah.
like Borderlands, but went to
wasn't
like a more
realism.
like animated feel
Yes,
to it.
yes.
Yes, it wasn't realism. It was a little. It was unique, more like the Fallout New Vegas, but even New Vegas wasn't really that like animated.
Now I just want to play New Vegas.
New Vegas is so good.
Well, we all want to play New Vegas. All right, the Walking Dead Telltale game. Holy shit, dude! Talk about a game that really like just exemplified like what storytelling could be. It's incredible.
I love those games. I got obsessed with those games.
They're so fucking good.
And then really kind of like the peak of that for me was Life is Strange, even though that wasn't Telltale. But I really loved Life is Strange and the Walking Dead games. Losing your people along the way and like having to make those choices. I love games like that. What was that? There was a game on the PlayStation 2 that kind of started that. What was it? Indigo Prophecy. Not great. Not a great game. But I really liked what they were trying to go with there. And then Heavy Rain on the PS3 was that guy doing another one.
PS3?
That was PS3.
Wow.
And those games, they're not great. And the Walking Dead games, I've played through them a number of times. Those were really like, that's like, okay, this is Heavy Rain was a good start. This is the evolution of that. And I love games like that because that's kind of where my vibe is these days is I don't always want to get into something super deep. I like that like I can kind of play this passively and experience the story, and I might have to push a button here and there. But really my skill level isn't going to be the deciding factor on what makes this playable.
Yeah, the evolution of Clementine was just in that series, and then was it Isaac in the first game, or what's the main character's name?
Oh, I keep wanting to say Joel, but that's The Last of Us.
No, yeah,
I think you're right. I think it was Isaac and Clementine.
yeah,
I feel like.
but like a super similar vibe of like that, of like this whole like father-daughter thing, and you know over the course of the game they developed this relationship, and just an incredible story. I mean, it really blew me away, like the way they presented the story of that game.
I am sad that Telltale got wiped out in one of those studio restructures, but from my understanding, I think they're coming back. I think they have I think they're doing is it a new Game of Thrones game that they're talking about doing.
I hope so. I mean, that would make
They
sense
did
for
Batman, right?
They
After
did,
the
they did a
Walking
Batman.
Dead.
They did Walking Dead. They did Batman. I think there was a Back to the Future that predated both of them.
And then they did their own thing that was like a Wolfman detective thing.
That's right. You're right.
Oh, that's
it was
based on the comic series
Wolf
Fables.
something, the
Wolf Among Us.
Wolf Among
what
Us.
it was.
Wolf Among
Yeah.
Us, yes.
I think that was the one I didn't play. That was the one I've been saving
Yeah.
for a rainy day.
got downloaded it on Game Pass. I think it made its way to one of those free games a couple years back.
Yeah, I really like those. I'm sad that that Telltale went away, but I do think I heard something about them coming back with something new.
well, we're starting to wind down here on the show to kind of like some of the big titles that got that are not exactly exclusive to Xbox 360, but they're where I played them at. So I want to talk
I
about
think
them.
that's the thing about the 360. I think in the States, that's most of these games were 360 games.
Yeah.
Even if it was the death of the exclusive.
The Orange Box, Half-Life,
Fucking
Half-Life 2,
awesome.
Episode 1 and 2, Portal, and Team Fortress 2 on one goddamn disc.
The only thing I bought that thing for Portal. And Portal and Portal 2, another total game changer.
I bought that so I could replay Half-Life 2. I mean, I played it on the PC maybe 5 years before that. I mean, whenever, but playing it again at a home console, that game is so well tuned. Such an awesomely designed game. It's I think Half-Life 2 is one of my faves.
It's really good. Again, one of those things where like I remember where I was and what I was doing, like playing through Half-Life 2, there was like a part where there's like these walker things that are outside that you have to kill. And I was listening to Down in the Park by oh shit, I forget the name of the guy. But it was once covered by Foo Fighters, but I totally forget the name of the original guy. I want to say Adam Ant, but that might not be right. But it stuck with me as like a thing where it's like, oh fuck, I remember
Those
it.
moments.
Like when I hear that song, I think of Half-Life 2. You know, and then the Portal thing was incredible. Team Fortress, what that brought to it.
I got to show Portal to my nephew when it got launched on Switch. Was that last year? I think they put it on Switch. And
Did you blow his mind? Because I came out from the bathroom. We're talking about that whole series.
he just turned 11, and watching him try to figure out Portal is so cool. That was so cool. And like Portal 2, we could play together,
Right.
but I really just like watching him and being like, well, you see how that thing's moving up in the upper left-hand corner, but nothing else is moving up there? I don't know. Maybe that might be something. And then,
I
like,
love those moments when you can throw that like, do you by any
watching-
chance look this
Then
look?
I
that
might
way?
sometime we'll come to a point where he'll be telling me how to play Portal.
Yeah.
And then I'm like,
Oh,
oh yeah.
Half-Life. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, finish, please.
I do that so much. I apologize if I've
No.
interrupted. Something Half-Life 2 did game design wise that always stuck with me was the gravity gun. The gravity gun was the first time that actually felt good. Not just picking up things, but launching them. And so many games have done it since then. Oddly enough, Control, which we
Yeah.
talked about,
Yes.
has a similar ability, and they fucking crush it.
They
Control's
absolutely
is the
I'm gonna have to sit down and actually like go through.
Dude, that
and beat-
Control.
I have
the-
to beat
the-
it.
I think
that
that's
power is amazing, but it started with the gravity gun, which just felt so good. It felt
Yeah.
so
They did
cool to
nail
pick
it.
things up and throw it, and it was such a game design like. I don't know, it was a very singular moment. In a game that was really well designed, that particular thing was awesome. And you didn't even get it till the very end.
Yeah.
Which was so ballsy, you know?
So you
so
just got a
cool.
taste of it.
Yeah,
You know?
which is like so awesome.
Yeah, that is like one of the iconic guns that you can get in games now in terms of
Yeah.
like something you remember, and you remember the power of getting it because you could just grab anything and then
Well,
launch
when they
it.
started, you were able to grab certain things, and then like after an hour of gameplay, you're able to pick up bodies, and then
Yeah.
it's everything.
Yeah.
And it gets kind of silly towards
Little
the end.
sandboxy out like
It does.
out the wazoo with
Well,
what you can do
Half-Life
with
2
it.
had
Right.
really good physics. Everybody
Yeah.
forgets
The
that was one
physics
of the
are great.
first
Yeah.
games that had physics-based puzzles that kind of worked.
Yeah.
You know?
Listener, you want to have fun? Pick up a motherfucker and launch that motherfucker into a whole group of motherfuckers. God damn, it's a game right there.
That's my
And you
favorite.
solved the puzzle.
It's my favorite thing in
Yeah.
wrestling when a motherfucker throws a motherfucker at another motherfucker or a group of motherfuckers. That's all I really
Yeah,
want
that's
to
all I
see. in
wanna
life.
see.
That's all I want to see.
That's all I want to see. All right, so as you came back, we're just kind of winding down here. We're getting into the big games on the list. When you mentioned earlier that you got the 1000 for Red Dead Redemption,
Red Dead Redemption, yeah.
So another game I played the first hour and a half. I was like, this isn't. I don't get it.
Oh, dude, really?
Yeah.
Oh my
Have you
god.
wait? You've never finished Red Dead Redemption?
I have not played the first 2 hours of that game.
Holy shit, dude. Okay,
Dude.
so I was the same way.
Yes, please.
I was the same way with it. I'm like, I just want to play Grand Theft Auto. Like if I'm gonna play this, I just want to play Grand Theft Auto. And then the more I was like, I'll stick it out, and I'll stick it out. And the
You just have to
more-
stick it out a little
It
bit.
is. It's a little bit of a slow burn. It's a little bit of Parks and Rec. Got to get.
You
to
got to
season
get
3.
past Armadillo.
But once you get into it, once it really clicks, it doesn't stop.
Yeah.
Now, to be fair, I still haven't played 2. So,
Bro.
yeah, I still have not played 2.
If you're ready for a time sink, it's big.
And
it's
then
massive.
when you get American Nightmare with the zombies and shit,
Yeah,
maybe
Undead
you should
Nightmare.
just play that.
Yeah.
Maybe just play Undead,
Undead
Nightmare,
Nightmare
and
was
you'll have a
awesome,
blast with
dude.
that. And that might
just a
that
whole
might get the
retake,
wheels turning to
and
play
it's
it.
zombies.
All right, so what sucked you into Red Dead Redemption? Like what was it that you were like allowing this time suck to happen?
I love Western. stuff. Always have.
And see, I don't. Like, Western's
Yeah.
not really a big thing
I
for me.
love Western
so
shit.
that, like,
and-
for me to love it that much,
Yeah.
I think that's a testament to how good it is.
Yeah, and it's one of those when I played Red Dead Revolver religiously, which
I
is
never
really
played.
the precursor
Yeah.
on PS2, and I think it was strictly on PS2, and then it wound up Red Dead Redemption came out for both. But I was obsessed with Red Dead Revolver. Red Dead Redemption came out. I was like, holy shit, this is open world. This isn't like chapters. It's not linear. This is an open world Western. So I get to, and I've got Deadeye. I got to suck down snake oils and shoot the hats off of like 20 dudes at once to get an achievement or whatever. But long story short, man, it's the Wild West, and you are kind of a Wild West superhero, and it was badass. Also, you could hunt. You're like foraging flowers, like for all these completionist mentality, journal-oriented things. To become the Legend of the West, you had to complete all of this wild shit to get the outfit. It was a whole number, man.
And I haven't played it since, so I haven't gone back to it, but I just remember at the time that map felt enormous.
What's funny is you could play it now, and it's so tiny.
Really?
Word.
Okay, see,
Yeah.
I figured that was probably, I remember at the time, like, God, this map
Yeah.
is just so fucking huge.
Well, in Red Dead 2, all of that map exists in the game.
game.
Even Mexico
Whoa.
exists, and you can get there by glitching it. You can get there. All the buildings are there. There's just no people. Because I think they were initially going to make that a DLC. Is like, we're going to do a full-bore remake of Red Dead.
Man.
But you can get through all of the American portion of the first game in Red Dead 2 in like a couple minutes. You can ride a horse right across it.
That's wild.
It's wild. It's wild.
Yeah, I gotta play 2. It's one of the, I keep waiting for
It's
it
incredible, dude.
I keep waiting for it to drop just a little bit more in price, even though I know it's probably worth it. But it's like
It's worth it.
It's like 3-4 years old at this point, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like,
yeah,
yeah.
it should drop in price.
Come on,
It's got
40, you're still charging me 40 for this? Come on.
40. That's not bad.
I know it's not.
I paid
bad.
75. I think I pre-ordered it with early release like rights. So I think I paid a little
yeah.
more.
I gotta
So
play
it
it.
start. It's fucking huge, dude. So it's a download, man.
All
The
right.
night we did it, the night I bought it, it took like 16 hours to download.
Jesus.
Granted, I reoriented, reformatted. It wouldn't take that long now. But
Yeah, I don't know how it would hold up going back to it now, but man, that was one that it actually kind of changed my opinion on westerns. If I'm being totally honest,
it was a killer
Like-
game.
Like I appreciate Western movies a whole lot more now. When I was a kid, like cowboy stuff, like just did nothing for me. Smoking Guns, my
Totally
least favorite
get it.
tag team in WWF, but like I just don't care about cowboy shit. But that. Sorry, Hangman. But that game I think was a big turning point for me.
Well, it was dark, comical as well. There
Oh,
was
yeah,
tons
had
of
very
goofy,
It's Rockstar.
very
Really
dark.
well
It's
written.
Rockstar.
Yeah, and funny.
I think it was right around the same time as No Country for Old Men. I think they came out
Yeah.
right around the same time. and I
No
think that
Country
re-
for 310 to Yuma.
Yeah, that
the
really
remake of that.
was-
all-
changed my
was
perception
Deadwood
of-
out at this time?
I think Deadwood was definitely
Deadwood was
happening
definitely
at this
out at this
time.
Yeah.
So it was Rockstar in the Wild West, man.
It's a special game.
It was something special. And like I said, I was so obsessed with Red Dead Revolver. This happened. It was like, it's Red Dead Revolver, but it's open world.
Yeah.
I have to play this.
Well, let's stick with the Rockstar theme. Let's throw together Grand Theft Auto 4 and 5. I never got through 4. I quit
Same.
halfway through. I just was
Same.
not into it.
I beat 4, just none of the DLC.
Yeah.
I liked the character.
Nico?
I like Nico. I think that was a really interesting choice.
Big swing.
It was a big swing. I love Liberty City in that. I love that. I'm sure going back now, it probably looks a little dated. But
No.
I just like the driving never felt right to me.
yeah,
in
the
that one.
mechanics were
yeah.
People
weird.
were constantly fucking calling you in that game to like, let's go play darts. I'm like, I don't give a fuck about
That
darts
cell
right
phone.
now.
Yeah.
Your buddy, your cousin calling you on the
Yeah.
cell phone.
Yeah.
Nico.
That's right.
Nico, we're gonna go bowling, and it's just like I don't want to fucking go
Dude.
bowling right now.
Great soundtrack in that
Of
game.
course.
That I mean, of course, yeah.
They
it's
always
Rockstar.
they always
Yeah.
have it. you
That
know?
one definitely. That's one thing I wish in Red Dead Redemption. I wish I had an iPod or a Zune. Like,
Yeah,
that'd
right.
be the only thing that make the
Could be like a Back to the Future Red Dead or something. Yeah.
I've played like a couple of hours of each Rockstar games. I played GTA 4 and 5, Red Dead 2, and I played like 3 or 4 hours of each one of these games. And while I was playing, I was like, man, this is really well written. It's beautifully designed. It looks great. It's funny. It's whatever. I never got any further than a couple hours into them.
Really?
And I'll tell you why it is. It's because the game always felt loose, the gameplay. Like if I pushed a direction, I know that's the way the movement and the action works in it. It's a little bit, it's not like super tight. It's not super crisp. It's a little loose.
If I'm mentioning earlier how much movement is important to you, Grand Theft Auto is probably the worst series to play.
It just doesn't do it for me. It's not. It's too loose. It's too. And I know that's like a stylistic thing. It's just not for me.
Have you seen the dude on TikTok that does like Grand Theft Auto in the real world?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw it somewhere.
But 5 I played the shit out of. I played 5 all the way through on the 360 and then again on the 1.
It came out on the 360,
Same.
and
it
then
still
it came out on the
exists.
1, and now they triple dipped.
Yeah,
and it came out on the Series X.
remade it.
Yeah.
That
Which is still
Skyrim.
just a remaster.
That is Skyrim, GTA 5 and
Yeah.
Skyrim.
We're getting there for the Skyrim.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
they
wh-
just did it again. Yeah.
Yeah, which game can we just not make a new entry for? We just keep releasing.
Just
live?
releasing
Yeah.
the same one that you
Over
already
and
But
GTA
there's a
5 was-
DLC this time.
I thought GTA 5 was a fucking blast when I was playing it. I just didn't
Yeah.
like the gameplay to keep it up. But the writing, the acting, the animation, man,
Yeah.
it really looks
Yeah,
like something.
the writing and animation in GTA 5 is great. I really like the
5
idea
was
of like
incredible,
three different
yeah.
protagonists.
Love the 3 characters. Yeah,
Yeah.
And
So cool.
Another great soundtrack.
Dude, Trevor.
Again,
Oh,
Trevor,
yeah, get
like
Trevor.
showing up and he's in like a dress and a diaper and he like wakes up in the desert, you know?
Getting to play as an unhinged redneck. That
Absolutely.
tortures people. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Three
I'm
really
there.
neat settings there too. There's
Yeah.
his house in Beverly Hills.
Yep.
There's that like the trailer park that's outside.
That's
Oh, yeah,
Trevor.
when you
And,
get way
and
out.
what's his name lives in that real tough neighborhood, and
Yeah.
yeah. his
Yeah.
aunt or his mom or something.
Well, and then he winds up in the Hollywood Hills. Michael,
Yeah.
the main protagonist, or you know whatever, same house, but he's doing his stuff, and then Trevor's still just like randomly waking up in a shitty diaper, or like, dude, in like very strange situations, you'll like go to Trevor and he is doing something you like you never expect, like
that is hilarious. Yeah, when you
hooking
can-
up with somebody. It's really weird, and they're
when you
both like
switch
really
over to
high
a-
on
Yeah.
meth, and
Yeah.
like
I forgot that element of it. That you
Yeah.
would switch to Trevor and he'd be
It's
somewhere
always fucked up.
in the middle of the desert doing
That's fucking
peyote.
Yeah.
yeah.
hilarious.
Yeah.
That's
like
really
wearing
funny.
a tutu and just like running around,
and
yeah,
I
with a
know,
machine
like-
gun.
It's funny, Tank. I remember your wife interviewed me for the newspaper when Grand Theft Auto 4 came out, and I think, God, I think I sounded like such a 12-year-old in that interview. And, like, it's such an immature game, but it's just one of those things. God damn, it's funny.
It's funny.
It's funny. Rockstar gets funny. And here's the thing. Here's something that I think a lot of people don't think about or understand is like in art, it's really hard to do funny, but when people nail funny, it's great and you remember funny. And there's just not enough funny. Like there's not enough funny in music. There's not enough funny in visual arts. There's not enough funny in fucking movies nowadays.
Yeah, nobody makes
funny's harder
comedies
to do.
anymore of
Yeah.
any kind. But yeah, there needs to be more comedy video games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
games are
it's just
perfect.
more difficult to
Yeah.
actually get people like chuckling
In a
and
video
get them
game?
to stick around. Right.
in a video game
Vi-
sense.
really anything,
Well,
I think.
Rockstar makes it look easy.
They make it
Yeah,
look easy.
GTA 5 is hilarious.
It's
Every
got
bit
to
of
be
it.
a
hysterical.
hard thing to pace in a video game
Yeah.
because you're going at your pace, but you got to keep up with the pace of a comedy. That's a
Yeah.
tough needle to thread.
Yeah.
And that's why the genius of Grand Theft Auto is the radio stations.
Yeah, those are great. Yeah.
Oh,
where
the
you-
talk station.
Yeah.
The talk stations, the commercials,
Yeah.
the fact they nail the like. And I'm a radio guy. I come
Yeah.
from radio.
Yeah.
So for me, like hearing the way they do like sweepers and bumpers to like to brand these radio stations, like that's the job I want. I want the job to make fake radio stations in Grand Theft Auto games. That's my dream job right there.
Who's this? Who's the Spanish guy? You remember the Spanish guy? He's always really creepy.
Oh yeah, well I keep wanting to say Laszlo. That's the other guy.
But Laszlo, Laszlo's like the rock and roll.
yeah, he's like the
guy.
rock and roll guy.
Oh shit! Oh.
Listen, to
Fernando.
Laz.
Fernando.
Yeah.
Fernando is fucking hilarious.
Love me some
dude.
Fernando.
It is obviously none of it is okay, but it is so damn funny, man. Fernando.
Well, guys, I saved the Bethesda games for last. Fallout 3. So
I think that's the one that we all have. We've all bonded over.
maybe my favorite game of all time. I
gooder.
I love everything about Fall. I love alternative American history. I love the idea of a 1950s where after we dropped the bombs in Hiroshima and Nagasaki, we zig and instead of zigging into our current world, we zag into a world that's everything's atomic. And then we end up getting into wars with like different countries, and we end up like fighting China and fucking Alaska. And
That was a wild DLC.
yeah, it was a
Yeah.
wild ass
Yeah.
DLC. You know, and just like this whole idea of like this alternative future where America gets hit with nuclear annihilation, the fallout of it, you live in vaults, and then you come up out of the vaults, and now you're back on this like completely cursed earth, and now you're in the Fallout world.
Out in the wastes.
I think in Fallout 3 in particular, the least interesting part of that game to me was playing the story. It was the finding everything
Exploring.
else. It was exploring and finding the little side quests.
Just combing.
Yeah.
Not that it was a bad story by no stretch.
No, sure.
Not a bad story at all.
Definitely a unique one, even for their games. I think, like finding your dad and whatever. But
Yeah, but to me it was like I want to go.
Oh, that was 4, wasn't it?
No, that's
no,
3.
You're finding your son in 4.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. That's
They
right.
just
You're
flipped
yeah.
the
That's how they
yeah,
get
You're
It-
right. I totally forgot.
Yeah.
Going off to those far corners of the map.
Yeah.
And
Oh yeah.
kind of the opposite of BioShock, where it's not the creatures don't get built up for you. You just run into them, and
Yeah.
you're like,
Yes.
The
Remember
first
the
time you
first time
see
you
a
run into a
Deathclaw,
Deathclaw? Yeah,
all
you're
giant
fucked.
super ogres and shit, and
Also,
you're like,
how hard is it to find like clean water,
Yeah.
any ammunition, anything you need, any stim packs, anything.
but then
Rad-X.
still managing your inventory.
Oh my God.
you were over encumbered.
Yeah.
Can't fast travel,
and you don't have anything you need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh God. Yeah. That.
You're saving up caps and random crap to sell, and
You know something I really liked about Fallout 3, and that I think they did it. I played the original 2 Fallouts on PC. Not a ton of them, but I mean, it was 30 years ago. The thing I really liked about 3 that they continued with 4 really well is the world building and the storytelling via exploring vaults. When you find a vault that
Yes.
you haven't seen before and you get in
Dude,
and you go
yes.
through some of those stories or the narratives that they build.
the
and-
different experiments.
yeah,
with these
and
vaults,
when
man.
you end up finding, after you've done a couple of them, you kind of get the gist. So when you find one, I was always like, "Yeah, boy! Like we're gonna see
Yes.
some fucked up shit in
this
here."
is the point of playing this game. Is what the
Exactly.
hell's going on in these vaults?
Exactly,
Yeah.
and then
Yes.
there was a lot of humor in that game. But
Yeah.
it wasn't like Rockstar's laugh out loud satire. It was more like really, really dark humor.
3 in particular was really fucking dark.
Yeah.
Very dark. And some of
3
those experiments,
dark.
but they were funny too. They
Oh, it
the
was
way
hilarious.
the way they did it was they walked a really interesting fine line.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love the vaults.
The thing I love most, and it's kind of to me, Fallout and Mass Effect are the 360 full. Those are my narrative experiences. Whereas Mass Effect is like telling me this big, huge story that I'm experiencing. Fallout's very lonely. It's a very
Yeah.
lonely game.
Yes.
And that's a really fun way to immerse yourself in a story. And finding yourself way off in the northeast corner of that map, which again, I'm sure today is teeny tiny, but in my head,
I would love to sit down and
They
just
had
check it
fast
out.
travel there, right? Didn't they have fast travel in
They
Fallout
have
3?
fast travel.
it did
yeah.
have fast travel. As long
And
as
you
there were no
definitely
enemies
needed it.
around.
Right.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
But yeah, going out and exploring on your own and just finding stuff in this quiet world. No music playing unless you got it playing on the Pip-Boy, and I think even on Fallout there are like a handful of
Yeah,
songs.
it's just
It's
very
not worth
limited.
it.
It was
like
killer
the ink
what
spots
they
and that's
had.
it.
Oh yeah, the stuff was
It
really
was-
Well, they
cool.
had that, and
wasn't-
then they have
was like
some of the
mood and-
orchestra.
Yeah.
Orchestral.
Well, and then it was what's his name? Something Dog from
Three Dog.
Yeah,
Was it
Three
Three Dog?
Yeah,
Three
Three
Dog.
Dog.
Three
Yeah,
Dog.
Freedom Radio.
Because one of the early main story
Yeah.
missions is you go
You're helping him out.
yeah, you gotta
find
you
it,
gotta you gotta
yeah.
go see him. Yeah.
There was a moment in Fallout. I want to say it was in Vegas or New Vegas, not Fallout 3, but because the reason I think this because you're in a barren wasteland. I remember this very clearly, and I saw the like what looked like an entrance to a vault. I was like, cool. So I walked over there,
Yeah.
and I don't remember if I hacked the door or whatever the fuck. Got the door open, and it's a concrete slab behind the door, and it just says "fuck you." I just remember thinking like, okay, all right, that's a perfect
like,
Fallout.
Yeah,
moment.
it's
You know,
very
you
it's
know,
very, very Fallout of you.
yeah, very Fallout
And
moment.
again, an interesting thing to do in a game is like there are different ways to you can pick the lock, you can hack the door,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
can
Yeah.
blow it the fuck up.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I love stuff like that, and you know it's somewhat rudimentary in a lot of ways, but I think we've evolved quite a bit on what you can do and stuff like that. But it was that was a big game for me.
I like in the Fallout games you can make yourself a genius or super fucking dumb.
Yes.
the dumb dialogue options
Yeah.
are hilarious.
Yeah, because
when
you-
you have like one intelligence.
Yeah. But like your melee is like up at like fucking 10, so you can just like cinder block smash anybody that argues with you. Yeah. And yeah, so let's go ahead and throw New Vegas in here because it's next on the list.
Yep.
Wow, what a like not a sequel, but also a very good game. and something
That was
different from what 3
Obsidian,
was.
right? Was it?
Yeah,
Obsidian?
yeah, because they changed it up. There's some people that say New Vegas is the best game in of all the Fallouts.
I've definitely got some buddies who would argue it.
I know.
Which I
yeah,
get.
I know
get
some
it.
folks that would tell you New Vegas is the best game on the 360.
Yeah.
I think they had some of the best DLC.
Yeah.
And I don't even think I
It was
played
like
the
there was,
DLC.
there was a
in Las Vegas.
Mothership DLC.
Oh, I played that Mothership Zeta.
Mothership was tight. Yeah, Mothership Zeta.
Did they also have the Pit, which was Pittsburgh?
I never played the
that.
Pit.
That was
Yeah,
kind of that was pretty good.
Yeah, the Pit. I just love the whole idea of like the Fallout universe where it's like the United States has been irradiated, and then this is the fallout of where you are. So like, in 3 you're in Washington D.C.
Yeah.
And then you're in New Vegas, and now with like 76 you're in Appalachia.
Yeah.
Like it's a really cool idea of like you're seeing how if quote unquote the bombs hit, what it would look like and how it would play out.
Yeah.
Fallout 4 was Boston.
Yeah, Boston.
My wife and I went to Boston a couple years ago. Like it was about a year before the pandemic, I think. And everywhere we were, I'm like, oh yeah, that's where Swan is over there, baby. That's the mega ghoul that lives over that lake.
Yeah,
and then
stay away from that.
Yeah, there's a death claw up there. She didn't think that was fun, but I did it the whole trip.
All right, guys, let's talk Elder Scrolls. So I know you're an Oblivion guy,
Yeah, big Elder Scrolls across the board.
and that's what got you to buy the 360.
that was what convinced me initially because it was a launch game for 360. Was the end all be
Was
all.
it
I was like,
Oblivion? It was like right at the beginning.
yeah,
Was it
Oblivion
launch
was a
game?
launch game. Yeah.
What a
and,
mind fuck, dude. Going from Xbox to Oblivion, like the original Xbox,
Oh, yeah.
and then seeing Oblivion
Dude,
when you get out
Elder
of the sewers.
Scrolls Morrowind compared to Oblivion,
Wild.
worlds apart.
Yes.
Then you go to Oblivion now.
Yeah,
like
you're
even
like-
Oblivion to Skyrim, same console.
Right, absolutely. Skyrim came out and it was a whole nother level. So yeah, Oblivion was a big one. It was the initial like I have to get it. I loved Morrowind on Xbox. There's a fucking arena now. There's an arena, and also I was a little older at this point and understood. And eventually I broke down Morrowind and like actually beat it and understood finding quest lines and finding guilds and doing this so I was way more about it and signed in. So yeah, once I found out Oblivion at the time was exclusive to 360, that was it. I'm buying a 360. So 360 I got pretty much on
Killer
on
launch
launch.
title.
Yeah.
What
Well,
a fucking
because of
launch
that.
title.
And then we get Skyrim.
The big boy.
And
Dude, oh
I mean,
man.
what has a game had the lasting like legacy of I mean, because it's been on fucking everything now. Like I don't
Yeah.
know a system that's not on. It's just everywhere, and there's new editions of it. And
The mod community is still
The
going.
mod it's
Oh,
also
I-
there's
I-
some awesome stuff.
It looks great now.
Yeah.
If you get it, I modded the shit out of it a couple months ago and
Yeah.
put it on the Series X just to kind of see,
Just to mess
and,
around.
yeah, just to see like where it is. And
Yeah.
there are current websites that are still updating lists of good mod builds and shit. I mean, people love that. They live
I mean,
it.
people are making full bore remakes of Oblivion, Morrowind,
Morrowind
that
in-
are like but DLC, where it's just a remake of the game. So it's still a very active community, even on how old is it? Over 10 years now.
Over 10 years.
Well
yeah.
over, yeah.
Somehow they got that son of a bitch on the Switch.
yeah.
Did they really
yeah.
Yeah.
chugs along?
I think so. I haven't played it on the Switch, but here's my fun Skyrim fact. To this day, have not finished it because I got the glitch on the final boss.
No.
Yeah. I was so pissed. So
Brutal.
I tried last year to get back into it and start fresh on the Series X, but just
You have to get past that first like 4 hours though.
It's a little. I mean, it's gotten old too. Even
It
the best
has.
games. Even the best
100%.
games. I mean,
One-
I
100%.
think traveling in Skyrim after playing Breath of the Wild
Yep.
is like, whoa, it's like trying to pogo stick your way through
Yeah.
Skyrim.
You're
And
talking to a Tears of the Kingdom head right now.
Oh, man,
I couldn't
I
sit down and play Skyrim right now.
haven't even started it yet because
Get
I'm just
ready.
like, I'm not. I have a job.
I
I have to
know.
pay bills.
Dude, I don't have a life
find
right
time
now.
to sleep and
Like,
eat.
yeah, like I just don't know.
This is the most I've done in like 2 weeks.
I 100% believe. That.
Other than
I got
work.
Skyrim pretty. I was into Western RPGs. I was into
Yeah.
JRPGs when I was younger.
Yeah.
I was on the Super NES. Like I beat Secret of Mana. I beat Final Fantasy
Nice.
2 and 3. Well, what we call 2 and 3.
Yeah.
And I played all the way through Final Fantasy 10 on the PS2. I was a big JRPG guy. Moved over to Western RPGs during the 360. A lot of it was Fallout 3. A lot of it was Mass Effect 1 and 2. And Dragon Age Origins. I mean, I just played those games. I played each one of them a couple times through. So when Skyrim came out, I had never played any of the Elder Scrolls games. I tried to play Oblivion and just wasn't really feeling it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe it was the first person. I don't know what it was, but I got Skyrim and I was like, this is okay. And I played like 5 hours. This is okay. And then I realized I had like 110 hours on it.
Yeah.
Like, this
Skyrim.
is fine. So I was living in Philly at the time, and my apartment got burgled. And I remember my then girlfriend calling me like, we got robbed. And I'm like, is the 360 there?
Yeah.
She goes, no, it's gone. I said, is Skyrim there? And that day, I bought another 360 and another copy of Skyrim. And unfortunately, though, this was before cloud saves.
Yeah.
So I had a
lost everything.
Bro, I got to work, all right? It's time to get to work.
Yeah.
And I got right into it, and I did beat the game on that. But, I mean, it was like, I didn't realize how much I liked it, because the game was so expansive.
Did you lose? I remember my little brother was playing it, and he was like a kid at this point in time when that came out. And he was like, and I understand because I've done it too, but it would be like, he'd be playing in the evening after school, Friday night, whatever, or Thursday night, whatever, in the summer. I remember hearing stories of my mom getting up, and she's getting up to go to work, and she comes down in the basement. My kid brother's still down there.
Yes.
Just fucking playing, dude, like plugged in. He's like, oh, hey, yeah, I'm going to bed soon. She's like, no, I'm going to work. You've been up all night.
That's an underrated
And
thing
it's
about
one of
Skyrim
those.
was the music.
Yes.
Because we at the I work in the restaurant business. Did we already talk about that? Yeah, I got a pizza restaurant. So in the mornings when you're prepping and the place is empty,
Yeah.
you have you decide what you're going to listen to.
You
and
can
sometimes-
actually just rock out.
Well, you can listen to nothing, which is really nice.
It is nice.
But sometimes you want some music, and I can't tell you how many times I've put on the Skyrim Exploration Suite on Spotify, and there's so much good music,
Yeah.
and it's really good. The score for that is beautiful, gorgeous.
I don't understand this. I can't listening to nothing thing. Well,
Yeah.
I can't be alone with my thoughts. That's
Yeah,
a terrible
yeah, I don't
place
like
to
Well,
be.
a restaurant is usually a very loud space, so
Yeah.
a couple hours
Fair
of
enough.
peace and quiet in the morning
Where
are
it's silent.
pretty nice.
The thing
pretty
about
incredible.
Skyrim is I think I put 100 hours into it, and I still don't know if I played it right.
Yeah. Well,
Did you enjoy it? Then you played it right.
Oh, there we go.
the first time I played as a barbarian. I hated it. I stopped playing midway through. And then I talked to my buddy Luke Young, and Luke's like, "Oh, just play as an archer." And I was like,
Yes,
the
dude.
meme,
Yeah,
Stealth Archer.
Dude,
Yeah.
stealth archer or bow mage.
Yeah.
Go stealth archer, kind of bow mage.
And it really does work because
It's the shit.
Yeah, and it's just
hard
like
at first.
yeah.
Did you play
And then
Archer
you're overpowered.
all the
yeah,
way through?
Yeah. And then, but at some point,
You're
level up.
overpowered.
You are walking death incarnate.
Dude, you are destroying everything.
He's like,
Archer. All right.
Yeah.
Now I feel
Archer
like I want
is-
to play.
yeah,
Stealth
It's a
Archer
tough-
is
it's
it's a meme. It's like you start out,
Yeah.
this time I'm going to play Barbarian. Up, Stealth Archer.
yeah.
Dude, it's a tough start.
I did
But-
an episode of the podcast with Luke where we talked about RPGs exclusively, and we talked about how Luke was like, when I go into caves, everything dies.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, and,
kill it all.
he's like, I am silent death.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, and after playing, I was like, Luke was fucking right. Like, you
Dude,
just go in and
it's
you
real.
just drop motherfuckers. Like, you are just a sniper assassin.
Especially once you get that sneak times 2, 3,
Yeah.
4 as you level it, and dude, you're done. It's done. It's,
You're
So you
just
play
walking
that-
around knocking shit over
Yeah.
and plunk, headshotting people.
Playing
yeah.
those games, playing Skyrim as an archer, like, this sounds weird, but it's a halfway decent shooter is what it is.
Yeah.
That's what
It's
it is.
a lot of
It's
fun.
a very slow-paced, fantasy-themed shooter.
Yeah.
As playing as an archer. That's
It's
what I was,
fun.
it's a blast.
Especially when you got like zombie barbarians running at you all slow as shit, and you're just plunk, plunk,
Dragon
plunk,
Age,
dropping
pow,
them.
pow, pow. Yeah.
and you're just landing headshots.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it slows down as you pull back once you level all your
Oh,
shit.
yeah,
your
yeah,
bow
that's
shit
right.
up.
Skyrim was fucking awesome.
Yeah, there's a
such
reason
a
why
great
there's a
game.
reason why it's still around.
Yeah.
Why make a new one?
Yeah, yeah. Why make a new one? That's still great. Well, guys, look, this has come to the end of it.
Have
Holy,
fun editing this one.
Jesus, dude.
I think it's 360 minutes long.
yeah. Well, you know what? We're gonna keep it in because I love this system. I really
love
do,
it.
and
Yeah, so good.
and I think you guys love
Yeah.
this
It
system.
was a true game changer.
And
it really was.
listener. I hope you love this system because this is a love letter to the Xbox 360.
Yeah.
Ray, let them know where they can find you out online, man.
You can find me on Instagram at Ray on the Air. And again, I just relaunched my wrestling blog, kickout.substack.com. Check it out.
Sam, where can people get at you?
You can find my restaurant, Fireside Pizza WH on Instagram. And I used to play in a rock and roll band, and every 5 years we book Bogarts or the Taft or something and play a big old rock show.
And sell out.
Yeah, we sell it out.
Yeah.
That's at July for Kings on Instagram. So I think we're gonna do one of those in summer of 24.
Hell
is
yeah,
the next
dude.
big one. So I think we're gonna
Nice.
try to sell out Bogarts as a bunch of 40-year-olds. It's kind of embarrassing, but it'll be cool.
It'll be fun.
You
it's a
guys,
blast.
yeah, you guys will
It's
sell
good- it's
out.
good
Yeah,
time.
hell yeah. And then Luke, how about you, man?
You can find me. My name's Luke Darling. You can find me. I have an OnlyFans.
Very quality OnlyFans.
It's a
I
quality
might add.
OnlyFans.
Yeah, it does a lot of
It's all-
weird stuff.
yeah,
with
it's all
feet.
about-
Ingrown toenails.
I
Bub-
can't see those feet.
Yeah.
There's shoes on them, so-
Well, that's why
It's
you
all
got to
about
pay for
bubble
bubble
wrap. Yeah,
They don't give that away for free.
Kiss him in the slip-ons.
that's right. I pop bubble wrap with my toes, and
Oh God.
and then I've got a link tree on my Instagram, Luke_Darling, I believe it is. But Game Pass or Smash, you can find it on anywhere you find podcasts.
Listener, if you like this episode, fucking subscribe to the episode.
Yeah.
It's this, but more.
I really want to check. I'll check it out for sure tonight.
It gets pretty gross. So there you go.
That's the selling point.
Fine with me.
I'm
We,
here for
we
the
watched
junior
we
content.
watched Junior. So
Listener, you can find me at NeoToKnow on Instagram, and neoToKnow1.com is the website. And as always, if you like this episode, send it to a friend that's also into video games, especially if they love the Xbox 360. And there's a whole back catalog of over 100 episodes, different hobbies, collections, and fandoms that I've done. If you got a friend that's into that kind of shit, let them check it out. Guys, thank you so much for coming and doing the show. I really appreciate it. Thank you for marathoning this with me.
Thank you.
And
Good times.
shout out to the Xbox 360.
Amen.
Listener, peace.